a discussion that is civil. These are tumultuous times, but we can and will have a respectful exchange about the big issues facing our nation. Let's begin with the ongoing pandemic that has cost our country so much. About the big issues. Senator Harris, the coronavirus is not under control. Over the past week, Johns Hopkins reports that 39 states have had more COVID cases over the past 7 days than in the week before. 9 states have set new records. Even if a vaccine is released soon, the next administration will face hard choices. What would a Biden administration do in January and February that a Trump administration wouldn't do? Would you impose new lockdowns for businesses and schools and hotspots? A federal mandate to wear masks? You have 2 minutes to respond without interruption.
Thank you, Susan. Well, the American people have witnessed what is the greatest failure of any presidential administration in the history of our country. And here are the facts.
Here we go.
210,000 dead people in our country in just the last several months. Over 7 million people who have contracted this disease. 1 in 5 businesses closed. We're looking at frontline workers who have been treated like sacrificial workers. We are looking at over 30 million
like the ones in the nursing homes, Kamala Harris?
Who in the last several months had to file for unemployment. And here's the thing. On January 28th, the vice president and the president were informed about the nature of this pandemic. They were informed that it's
Would you mind putting this on the Discord
that
stream?
it is airborne,
So I won't be like lagging
that it
behind.
will affect young people, and that it would be contracted because it is airborne.
I think this should be it.
And they
Appreciate that.
knew what was happening, and they didn't tell you.
I
Can
think
you
this should be it.
imagine if you knew on January 28th, as opposed to March 13th, they knew what you might have done to prepare? They knew and they covered it up. The president said it was a hoax. They minimized the seriousness.
He
of
also
it.
cut
The
off
president
flights
said,
from and to
"You're on
China
one
and all
side
these
of the ledger
places,
if
and
you
y'all
wear
said he
a
was
mask, you're on the
racist,
other
and he
side
went
of the
down to
ledger if you
Chinatown,
don't."
Pelosi.
True.
Come on
Shit is
now.
In
bullshit.
spite of all of that, today they still don't have a plan. They still don't have a plan. Well, Joe Biden does. And our plan is about what we need to do around a national strategy for contact tracing, for testing,
For
administration of
tracing,
the
for
vaccine,
contact
and making sure that it will be free for all. That is the plan that Joe Biden has and that I have, knowing that we have to get a hold of what has been going on, and we need to save our country. And Joe Biden is the best leader to do that, and frankly, this administration has forfeited their right to re-elect.
See, this is the spiciness we want to see from Kamala. We just wish it was, you know, with some kind of brains behind it.
Americans have died of COVID.
First time I'm seeing her. First
The
impressions.
U.S. death toll as a percentage of our population is higher than that of almost every other wealthy nation on earth.
She's just your typical, like,
2.5
Hold on, they got little glass dividers. Oh my god.
That was actually a big point of it. Yeah, they wanted to make sure they had dividers.
The U.S. death toll as a percentage of our population higher than that of almost every other wealthy country. And you have 2 minutes to respond without interruption.
Susan, thank you. And I want to thank the Commission and the University of Utah.
I would like to ask, what about
hosting
Jussie
this
Smollett?
event. And
What happened
Senator
with
Harris,
Jussie Smollett?
It's a privilege to be on the stage.
That's all I have to
with
say.
you. And our nation has gone through a very challenging time this year. But I want the American people to know that from the very first day, President Donald Trump has put the health of America first. Before
Look at
there
her
were
face.
more
She's
than
like,
5
really?
cases in the United States, all people who had returned from China. President Donald Trump did what no other American president had ever done. And that was he suspended all travel from China, the second largest economy in the
What
world.
about that, Kamala? What is she writing
Now,
down? What is she writing down?
Joe
Oh,
Biden
fuck.
opposed
He remembered
that
about
decision.
that.
He said it was xenophobic and hysterical.
Like, I'm
But I
gonna
can tell
make
you,
this
having led
joke
the
or
White
attack
House
him on
Coronavirus
this.
Task Force, that
Oh,
that
look at
decision
her
alone by
face.
President Trump
That's why they love her, dude. They love these sassy women like her and
since
AOC.
World War II.
Just get them, get them.
Hundreds of thousands
Screams
of American
Democrat,
lives.
yeah, I guess.
Because what that time
Yeah, I
we
like how they
really
said at the
protest
beginning,
more than 150
we just want to
million
say
people
nobody
every
has
day.
got the questions in advance, you know, the way Hillary Clinton did. I just wanted to make sure.
Our doctors and nurses have the
Really?
resources
Well, they
to
didn't
help
mention Hillary Clinton, but they
And
did
we
mention,
began-
like,
No,
we
no,
just
but
want to
yeah.
say everybody did
February,
not
we
get the
developed the
questions. There's
vaccine
no rigging
and
of the
developed
questions.
medicines and therapeutics
These are
and
totally
saving
on the
lives
spot.
along
Yeah.
the way.
We're gonna be
Under
fair
President's
this time.
leadership, Operation Warp Speed, we believe, will have literally tens of millions of doses of a vaccine before the end of this year. The reality is, when you
Oh,
look at the
shit.
Biden
Tens
plan,
of
it
millions
reads
of
an awful
doses.
lot like what President Trump and I and our task force have been doing every step of the way.
Trump also mentioned using the
When I look at
National
their
Guard and
plan,
shit
it
to
talks
give out the
about
vaccines like
advancing
fucking Last of Us.
testing, creating a
Holy
PPE,
shit.
developing a vaccine. It looks a little bit like plagiarism, which is something Joe Biden
I mean, if
knows
it's
a little
that
bit
bad,
about.
Jesus.
I think the American people know that this is a president who has put the
That's great.
She's doing the same thing as Biden. She's looking to do nothing but laugh.
can be
Thank you, Vice
proud of the sacrifices they have made. It's saved
Thank you,
countless
Vice
American
President Pence.
lives.
Senator Harris, would you like to
All
respond?
right, my timing was off just a little
Whatever
bit.
the vice president is claiming the administration has done, clearly it hasn't worked. When you're looking at over 210,000 dead bodies in our country.
Now he's writing down, fuck this bitch.
that
Just circles it. Cunt. Cunt.
He's drawing
Cunt.
boobs.
the vice president is the head of the
He's
task
just drawing boobs on her, and it's just like,
knew
fuck her titties.
on January 28th how serious
The-
this
the
was.
last-
And then thanks to Bob
It's like,
Woodward,
yeah, from here.
Drawing.
we learned.
It's like from here, these are about a
about it,
38.
And then when that was
38 C's.
the vice
He's
president
just
said,
making a
when asked,
caricature,
"Well, why did
just
y'all
like
do it?"
put up to show her
He said
later.
because the president wanted people to remain calm.
Well, let's get
So I
about,
no, but Susan, this is important,
Susan,
and I want to add,
yeah.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
I have to
I'm
weigh
speaking.
you
So
can have
I-
15
I-
more
Yes, we know you are
seconds, and then we'll give
speaking.
the
We
Vice
can
President-
tell by the
He really
shrieking and
asked
annoying headache in
How
our
calm
fucking
were you when
ears.
you were
We can
panicked
tell you're
about where
speaking.
you're going to get your next roll of toilet paper? How calm were you when your
God.
kids were sent home from school and you didn't know
Oh
when they
my.
could go back? How calm
The
were you
appeal to
when
emotion,
your
yes,
children
all right.
couldn't see your parents
Where were
because
you
they were
when
afraid they
we
could
shut
kill
down
them?
the government and we
Let's give
shut
Vice
down
President
businesses?
Pence a
Where
chance
were
to
you?
respond. Vice President, you have 1 minute to respond.
There's not a day gone by.
When
without
our
a
side said that
that's
we need
lost
to
life.
get you out of your jobs and out
And
of
I want
school,
all
where
of you to
were
know that
you?
you'll always be in our hearts and in our
Wait,
prayers.
hold on. Doctors
But
went
when
to
you say
poor
what
black
the American
communities,
people
asked
have
if they
done over
wanted.
these last 8 months hasn't worked.
Dude, the way he said that was really
It's a
creepy.
great
Like,
resource.
remember, American people, you'll be in our hearts and prayers. You're gonna be dead soon, but just remember.
If I'm
That was actually
They're
really
gone,
creepy.
But
The reality is, Dr. Fauci said,
Oh, shit.
everything he told the president in the Oval Office, the
There you go.
president told the American people. Now, President Trump, I will tell you, has
Jack,
boundless
can you turn
confidence
up
in the American
the
people, and he always
debate a little
spoke with
bit?
confidence that we'd get
bro,
through it.
it's
I
like
don't know,
they're
can
going
I?
crazy.
But when you say it
I don't know if I
hasn't
can.
worked, when Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx and our medical experts came to us
Is
in
that
the second
higher or
week
no?
of March,
It's pretty
they
loud
said
on
if
mine.
the president didn't take the unprecedented
Yeah, you
step
can turn the
of
individual
shutting down
volume on
roughly
the
half of
stream
the
itself.
American economy, that we could lose
Might be low.
2.2 million Americans. And that's the reality.
Thank you.
They also said to us if we did everything right, Susan, we
Wow.
could still lose more than 2 million Americans.
Vice President
One
Pence,
life lost is too
Thank you.
many, Susan. But the American people, I believe, deserve credit for the sacrifices that they have made, putting the health of their
Just
families
look on the
and their
stream on,
neighbors first, our
on
doctors, our
Discord.
nurses, our first
thank you, Vice
responders.
President Pence.
And I'm going to speak up on behalf of what the American people have done.
Vice President Pence, you were in the front row in a Rose Garden event 11 days ago at what seems to have been a
sucked a dick.
super spreader
Live on
event for
camera.
senior administration and congressional officials. No social distancing, few masks, and
Is this
now
better
a
on the
cluster
stream?
of coronavirus cases among those who were there.
Holy shit,
How can you
bro.
expect Americans to
little bit now.
follow
Now it's
the
too loud.
administration's safety guidelines to protect themselves
Good
from COVID
God.
when you at the White House have not been doing so?
Well, the American people have demonstrated over the last 8 months that when given the facts, they're willing to put the health of their families and their neighbors and people they don't even know first. And President
She's
Trump and I have
drawing
great
him with a small
confidence
dick or
in
something.
people and their ability
There's a dick
to
going
take
in
that
his mouth.
and put it into practice. In the height of the epidemic, when we were losing a heartbreaking number of 2,500 Americans a day, we surged resources to New Jersey and New York and New Orleans. And
We
Detroit.
put them all in nursing homes and we killed all the old people.
Sacrifices. When the outbreak in the Sun Belt happened this summer, again, Americans stepped forward.
And we weren't sure if we were going to have raisins.
Of the President of the United States goes on. The vacancy on the Supreme Court of the United States has come upon us, and the President introduced Judge Amy Coney Barrett.
Thank you, Vice President.
Yes, thank you. We've heard enough. Yeah, because they're not dealing with the shit that Fox did, you know, just constant bullshit.
Many of the people who were at that event, Susan, actually were tested for coronavirus. And it was an outdoor event, which all of our scientists...
None of us had corona, but several of us did have herpes.
President Trump trusts the American people to make choices in the best interest of their...
That's right. The Republicans trust me. I'm smart enough.
Not just mandates with the corona.
Put their faith in the people.
A government takeover of health care.
Thank you.
The Green New
Thank
Deal,
you. We've had enough.
all government control. We're about freedom and respecting the freedom of the American people.
Let's talk about.
Hey, I can agree with that.
Look, when you might die and that's all that protects you is like a couple pieces of plastic, like fucking dude, just kill yourself. We're not fucking worthy of this fucking space.
Themselves. But this administration still
Ruben
on
left.
information that if you had as a parent, if you had as a worker knowing you didn't have enough money saved up, and now you're standing in a food line.
Yes,
because
we know
of the ineptitude.
Because of capitalism. Oh no, this one guy, I forgot. It's his problem.
So let's
he did this.
If you're living the life that we sell to you constantly on TV and movies and TikTok and Snapchat, and now you're facing the consequences of that lifestyle, trust us, we're gonna save you. The same people that sell you those same products that make you live this life.
And their
I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
Kamala Harris, Senator Harris, I'm sorry.
It's fine, I'm Kamala.
You're Senator Harris. I'd like to get back to normal.
Like to Kamala over your face. Oh! That's the end of the street, boys.
But half of Americans now say they wouldn't take the vaccine now. If the Trump administration approves a vaccine before or after the election, should Americans take it, and would you take it?
If the public health professionals, if Dr. Fauci, if the doctors...
If Fauci tells me it's okay, I'll do it.
Absolutely.
If
but if Donald
the
Trump tells us
doctor...
that we should take it, I'm not taking it.
Vice President Pence, there have been a lot of repercussions from this pandemic. In recent days, the president's diagnosis of COVID-19 has underscored the importance...
Remember, all the other doctors who say you shouldn't do it, those guys are not the licensed professionals you should listen to.
They're not the doctor.
Vice President. One of you will make history on January 20th. You will be the vice president to the oldest president the United States has ever had. Donald Trump will be 74 years old on Inauguration Day. Joe Biden will be 78 years old.
Holy
That
fuck.
has raised concerns among some voters, concerns that have been sharpened by President Trump's hospitalization in recent days. Vice President Pence, have you had a conversation?
Bitch, y'all are over here doing costumes of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and she's in the hospital dying 30 years out of the fucking month, and you're fucking saying that Trump is sick? Come on.
I think you should. You have
Bitch lived in and out of the hospital for 3 years, and she's a fucking goddess.
I think we need to move on to the issue of...
I would like to go back.
Forget it.
Because the reality is that we're going to have a vaccine, Senator, in record time, in unheard of time, in less than a year.
Damn.
We have 5 companies in phase 3 clinical trials.
That's right, capitalism.
Right now producing 10.
Why are they the head of the medical fucking field here?
The fact that you continue to undermine public confidence in the vaccine, if the vaccine emerges during the Trump administration, I think is...
Yeah, he's using her magic against her. Why are you undermining the faith in the vaccine, bitch?
Stop playing politics with people's lives.
Ooh! Pence!
We will have a vaccine
God, it just came.
before the end of this year. Capacity to save countless American lives, and your continuous undermining of confidence in a vaccine is just it's just unacceptable.
I didn't think this was going to be as good as the Trump-Biden debate. It's not, but it's definitely entertaining. This is good.
Failure in this administration. For sure. We actually do know what failure looks like in a pandemic. It was 2009.
It's your mom.
The swine flu in the United States.
Take that, Kamala.
Thankfully, it ended up not being as lethal as the coronavirus.
Oh,
but before the end of the year,
it ended up not being as dangerous as
Joe
we
Biden
hyped
was
it up
vice
at the
president
time.
of the
But
United
this one is
not
all the
7.5 million
real
people
one.
contracted swine flu. 60 million Americans contracted the swine flu.
Ooh.
If the swine flu had been as lethal as the coronavirus, in 2009, when Joe Biden was vice president, we would have lost 2 million American lives.
That's right.
His own chief of staff, Ron Klain, would say last year that it was pure luck that they did, quote, everything possible wrong. And we learned from that. They left the strategic national stockpile empty. They left an empty and hollow plan, but we still learned from
This is like a fucking guy on the night shift arguing with a bitch on the day shift. Like, this bitch didn't fucking leave the shit stopped.
Stop undermining confidence.
I don't know what you want me to do about it. She didn't fucking stock the toilet paper. You want me to fucking do it? I don't think so.
About safeguards or procedures when it comes to the issue of presidential disability, and if not, and if you win the election next month, do you think you should? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
So let me tell you,
What?
first of all, the day I got
Do you
the
think
call
you
from
should win?
Joe Biden, it was actually a Zoom call.
Actually, Zoom. We use Zoom. We actually use that.
Probably
We use that software.
couple days of my life. I thought about my mother, who
What?
came to the United
Who
States.
Joe
at the age of
Biden
19,
molested? Oh,
gave
yeah.
birth to me at the age of 25.
And at the age of 26, she was taking dicks on the daily to send me to school.
I thought that I'd be sitting here right now. I know would make her proud.
When I was listening to Tupac in the 7th grade, I never thought I would be
And I
here.
were raised in a very similar.
They
we were
just
raised with
always
values
use
that
appeal
were
to
about
emotion
hard work,
non-stop.
about
They're the party of celebrities. That's all they know.
service,
It's amazing.
and about the importance of fighting for the dignity of all people. And I think Joe asked me to serve with him because, I have
'cause I
a
got
career
titties.
that includes.
You know, I was gonna say I have the nice titties and nice curves. You know, he just wants to see me.
Some as black as
innovation
these.
for law enforcement in terms of reform of the criminal justice system. I was elected the first woman of color and black woman to be elected Attorney General. of the
She's
state
not
of
even
California,
black.
where
About
I
10
am
years ago, she was claiming she was
Justice of the
Indian.
United States, second only to the United States. And there I took on everything from transnational criminal organizations to the
Big black cocks, big white cocks, little white cock. I put 30 different black cocks in jail every day.
Now I serve in the United
I
States
take 'em
Senate
all
as
on.
only the second black woman ever elected to the United States Senate. I serve on the Senate Intelligence Committee, where I've been in.
Have you ever seen the other bitch? I think it's the one that Tom posted in the meme chat. She fucking looks like she has Down syndrome. Sunken ass eyes.
All these politicians look like that.
In war
I don't know,
zones.
man.
Nah, dude, that bitch has like a voodoo head.
No, yeah, I saw it.
Because
That's
he knows
hilarious.
that we share a purpose, which is about.
We share each other's partners. We share.
4 years that we have seen of Donald.
He
Trump
takes one end of the dildo, I take the other end.
And
It's
principles.
just
Thank
so
you, Senator
sad.
Harris. You know, neither President Trump nor Vice President Biden has released
Shit, how many
a sort of
pearls does she have on her
detailed
necklace? I think
health
it's 33.
information
Fuck.
that would be the modern norm until the
Illuminati
2016
confirmed.
election. And in recent days, President Trump's doctors have given misleading answers or refused to answer basic questions about his health.
What?
And my question to each of you in turn is this information voters
Do we really give a
deserve
fuck?
to know?
Like,
Vice
yeah.
President Pence, would you like to go first?
Well, Susan, thank you. And let me say, on behalf of the president,
Oh god.
Fuck you. He's the best. Nothing can take him down.
concern for the president. And I do believe it's emblematic of the prayers and.
This nigga always looks like he's
concern
high or
and
he
support
just
for
cried his
everyone
heart out.
impacted, by the coronavirus. But the
Something
care
like
the
that.
president received at Walter Reed Hospital, the White House doctors was
This
exceptional.
nigga's high on Corona right
And the
now.
transparency that they practiced all along the way will continue. The American people have a right to know about the health and well-being of their president, and will continue to do that. But I'm just extremely grateful and was more than a little moved by the broad and bipartisan support. And Senator, I want to thank you and Joe Biden for your expressions of genuine concern. And I also want to congratulate you, as I did on that phone call, on the historic nature of your nomination.
You were lighter right now, bro.
I
Oh, no, I was doing
expected
two
you
at
on the
once.
stage 4 years ago, so I know the feeling. But the reality is, we've got an election before the American people in the midst of this challenging year. And the stakes have never been higher, but I
Thank you.
think the
Thank you,
choice
Vice
has never
President
been
Pence. I
clearer.
want to give
And go to Burger
a
King.
chance to respond to this. question I asked, which is, do voters have a right to know more detailed health information about presidential candidates and especially about presidents? Especially
Pence is
in the
definitely a
face of
more
COVID?
coached politician.
Absolutely, and that's why Joe
Right.
Biden has been so incredibly transparent, and certainly by contrast, the president has not, both in
Oh
terms
my
of health.
God.
He's
Showing
not.
his butthole.
We don't know what size his butthole is. How will we know who we should vote for?
When I first heard
And
about
we
it,
don't know how
I
orange his
literally
dick
said, "You mean
is."
$750,000?" And it was like, no.
See how she like adjusted her seat,
$750.
like she got her little
We now know
momentum going.
Donald Trump owes
She like
and is in debt
she's getting
for
going.
$400 million. And just so everyone is clear, when we say in debt,
Speaking to
it
us
means
right
you
now.
owe money to somebody.
That's what in debt means, by the way. Because, by the way, we taught you to be in debt your whole lives, but we never really taught you what that meant. So let me tell you what it means right now.
Right to know what is influencing
Bitch.
the president's
All you black people out
decisions.
there, y'all know what the word debt
On the best
means?
interest of the American people,
It means you. It means you owes the monies.
Transparency.
You ordered the food at the drive-thru, and now you got to pay.
Over many, many years, the one thing we all know about Joe, he plays it all free money. He is honest, he is forthright. But Donald Trump, on the other hand, has been about covering
is
up
not.
everything.
That's Pence, by the way, that you're pointing at. Donald Trump over there.
I respect the fact that Joe Biden spent 47 years in public life. I respect your public service as well.
Thank you.
Oh, he was really struggling with what he was going to say.
He was a businessman. He's a job creator who's paid tens of millions of dollars in taxes, payroll taxes, property taxes. He's
That's
created
right.
tens of thousands of
That's
American
right.
jobs. And the president said those public reports are not accurate.
He could have just spent all that money, bought a billion yachts, but
Literally
nope.
stacks of financial
fucking paid
disclosures
people
that
to live.
American people can
Yep.
review just as the law allows. But the distinction here is that Joe Biden, 47 years in public service, compared to President Donald Trump, who brought all of that experience 4 years ago.
Thank you, Vice
And
President.
turned this economy around by cutting taxes,
Was that 2
rolling
minutes?
back regulation,
Thank you,
unleashing
Vice
American
President
energy,
Pence.
47 years in
fighting for
office,
trade,
32 kids
all
molested.
Thank you,
on the
Vice
line
President.
with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
You know, that's a good
away.
segue into our third
great
topic,
segue.
which is about the
I
economy.
don't know, is Ruben
This has
talking? I
been
see, like, the
another
thing
aspect
moving.
of life for Americans. It's been so effective.
Well, there you go. Like, I could see your thing
We have a
moving, but
jobs
I couldn't hear
crisis
anything.
brewing. On Friday, we learned that the
I just turned you
unemployment
up.
rate had declined to
Turned you up.
7.9% in September, but the job
this
growth
better?
had stalled. And
Yes,
that was
thank you.
before the latest round of layoffs and furloughs
Got
in
it.
the airline industry at Disney and elsewhere. Hundreds of thousands of discouraged workers have stopped looking for work. Nearly 11 million jobs. that existed
Mascots
at
are
the beginning
starting
of the
to
year
suck dick
haven't
for
been
money.
replaced. Those hardest hit include Latinos, Blacks, and women.
Latinos.
Senator Harris, the Biden-Harris campaign
Latinos.
has proposed new programs to boost the
Latin
economy, and you
X.
would pay for that
There you go.
new spending by raising $4 trillion in taxes on wealthy individuals and corporations. Some economists warn that could curb entrepreneurial ventures that fuel growth and create jobs. Would raising taxes put the recovery at risk? And you have 2 minutes to answer uninterrupted.
Thank you. On the issue of the economy, I think there couldn't be a more fundamental difference between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Joe Biden believes you measure the health and the strength of America's economy
Joe Biden measures from the balls, and Trump measures from the shaft.
and the American family.
He's a cheater,
On the
folks.
other hand, you have Donald Trump.
He adds a
who
couple
measures
extra
the strength
inches
of
to
the
his
economy
length.
based on how rich people are doing, which is why he passed a tax bill benefiting the top 1% and the biggest corporations of America, leading to a $2 trillion deficit that the American people are going to have to pay for. On day one, Joe Biden will repeal that tax bill. He'll get rid of it. And what he'll do with the money is invest it in the American people. And
That's
through
right,
expansion
folks.
of
More
infrastructure,
LGBT
something that
bathrooms,
Donald Trump
more
said he
pride
would do. I
parades.
remember
That's
during
what he'll do.
Infrastructure Week, I don't think it ever happened.
More drag
But Joe
queen
Biden
library
will do that.
story
He'll invest
times.
in infrastructure. It's about upgrading our roads and bridges, but also investing in clean energy and renewable energy. Joe is going to invest that money in what we need to do around innovation. There was a time when our country believed in science and invested in research and development so that we were an innovation leader on the globe. Joe Biden will use that money to invest in education. So, for example, for folks who want to go to a 2-year community college, it will be free. If you come from a family that makes less than $125,000, you'll go to a public university for free. And across the board, we'll make sure that if you have student loan debt, it's cut by $10,000.
I mean, it doesn't already.
Less than they do now, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really already.
Right.
It's fucking useless.
Passing a tax bill, which had the benefit of letting American corporations go offshore to do their business.
Thank you,
You're
Senator
welcome.
Harris. Vice President Pence, your administration has been predicting a
Oh
rapid
man,
and
this is the kind of bitch I wish was
robust-
was on your
latest
side,
economic report
but
suggests that's not
it's
happening.
terrible.
I
Should
was
Americans
wish
be
you know
braced
she was
for an
berating me.
economic comeback that
Yeah,
is gonna take
exactly.
not
While she's
months,
jerking
but
you off,
years?
that's right. You gotta pay your
You have
fucking
2 minutes
health
to
care.
answer.
You gotta pay your taxes. You gotta hire more illegals. You gotta fucking let them live on your property for free.
As vice president, they tried to tax and spend and regulate and bail our way back to a growing economy. President Trump cut taxes across the board. Despite what Senator Harris says, the average American family of 4 had $2,000 in savings in taxes.
This is true.
With the rise in wages that
Let's fact
occurred,
check it.
most predominantly for blue-collar, hardworking Americans, the average household income for a family of 4 increased by $4,000 following President Trump's tax cuts. But America, you just heard Senator Harris tell you,
Fucking Jared.
on day 1, Joe Biden's going to raise your taxes. It's really remarkable to think, Susan. I mean, right after a time where we're going through a pandemic that lost 22 million jobs at the height, we've already added back 11.6 million jobs because we had a president who cut taxes, rolled back regulation, unleashed American energy, fought for free
Unleashed.
trade, and secured $4 trillion from the Congress of the United States to give direct payments to families, save 50 million jobs through the Paycheck Protection Program. We literally have spared no expense to help the American people and the American worker through this. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris want to raise taxes. They want to bury our economy under a $2 trillion Green New Deal, which you were one of the original co-sponsors of in the United States Senate.
Yep.
They want to abolish
she
fossil
denying
fuels and ban fracking, which would cost hundreds of thousands of American jobs all across the heartland.
I never said
And
ban
Joe Biden
fracking.
wants to go back to economic surrender.
I
to
never said
China.
defund
And he
police.
took
I said just take away their
our
money.
national trade deficit from China alone. And Joe Biden wants to repeal all of the tariffs that President Trump put into effect to fight for American jobs and American workers. Joe Biden says democracy's on the ballot. Make no mistake about it, Susan. The American economy, the American comeback is on the ballot with 4 more years of growth
Thank you,
and
sir.
Opportunity,
Thank you,
4
Vice
more years of President Donald Trump.
Wait, 4 more years of prison? Oh, I thought he said prison, but he said president.
Senator
4 more years of prison
Well,
under
we
Donald
saw
Trump.
enough of it in last week's debate, but I think this is supposed to be a debate based on fact and truth. And the truth and the fact is Joe Biden has been very clear. He will not raise taxes on anybody who makes less than $400,000
He said
a
he's going to
year.
repeal the Trump tax cuts.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
Well,
I'm speaking.
the important is he said the truth.
Oh, speechless.
Repeal the Trump
Sir.
tax.
Left
That
speechless.
was tax cuts that gave the average working family
Absolutely
$2,000
speechless.
in a tax
That's
break
true.
every single
Damn.
year.
Say that.
That is
That's the math.
absolutely not true. That
Is he
tax
only
bill,
cutting? Is he only going to repeal part of the Trump tax cuts?
if you don't mind letting me finish, we can then have a
Oh.
conversation, okay?
Please.
Okay. Joe Biden will not raise taxes on anyone who makes less than $400,000 a year. He has been very clear about that. Joe Biden will not end fracking. He has been very clear about that. Joe Biden is the one who, during the Great Recession, was responsible
The Great Recession.
for the Recovery Act that brought America back. And now the Trump-Pence administration wants to take credit when they rode the coattails of Joe Biden's success for the economy that they had at the beginning of their term. Of course, now the economy is a complete disaster. But Joe Biden, on the one hand, did that. On the other hand, you have Donald Trump, who has reigned over a recession that is being compared to the Great Depression. On the one hand, you have Joe Biden, who was responsible with President Barack Obama.
This
for
is
the
all on the
Affordable
same
Care
one
Act.
hand, I guess.
Yep.
Over
On the third hand,
with pre-existing
This
conditions.
bitch.
And what it also did is it saved those families who otherwise were going bankrupt. because of hospital bills.
Why don't we all just learn how to code, Kamala? Why don't we all just become coders? Huh?
Thank you,
We're all out of jobs. Why don't we just make programs and, you know, we all use each other's apps? Why don't we do that?
If you have pre-existing conditions, and this is very important, Susan.
Yes,
and it's
but we
important.
need to give Vice President.
I'd just like to, he interrupted me, and I'd like to just
Oh my
Mm.
God. This
If you have a
fucking
pre-existing condition, heart disease, diabetes, breast cancer, they're coming for you.
They're gonna get you.
Was a
They're
pre-existing
gonna get you.
Thank you,
Are you
Senator
coming
Harris.
for you.
fucking kidding me?
If
They're
you're
gonna get
under the age
you.
of 26 on your parents' coverage, they're coming for you.
Healthcare because Obamacare
Wow.
was a disaster.
That was amazing.
Well, President Trump and I have a plan to improve healthcare and to protect pre-existing conditions for every American. But look, Senator Harris, you're entitled to your own opinion, but you're not entitled to your own facts. You yourself said on multiple occasions when you were running for that you would ban fracking. Joe Biden looked at a supporter in the eye.
They just let him off the
pointed and
leash at
said,
each other, man.
I guarantee that we will abolish fossil fuels. They have a $2 trillion version of the Green New Deal, Susan, that your newspaper, USA Today, said really wasn't that very different from the original Green New Deal. More taxes, more regulation,
More
banning
bullshit.
fracking, abolishing fossil fuel, crushing American energy, and economic surrender to China is a prescription for economic decline.
She literally,
President
all
Trump
she
and I will keep
refutes that with is
America
like,
growing
we're not
the
gonna do
V-shaped
that.
recovery that's underway right now.
No, she just laughs. She doesn't even like
Donald Trump.
say it. She's like, oh.
Biden said
He interrupted me.
Topic, which is climate change. And Vice President Pence, I'd like to pose the first question to you. This year, we've seen record-setting hurricanes in the South. Another one, Hurricane Delta, is now threatening.
Oh,
And
fucking
we have seen
climate change.
record-setting wildfires in the West. Do you
God
believe,
damn
as
it.
the scientific community has concluded, that
Oh my
man-made
God.
climate change has made wildfires bigger, hotter, and more deadly, and have made hurricanes wetter, slower, and more damaging?
That wet ass pussy.
Thank you, Susan.
Harder and faster and deeper.
Environment and on conservation.
So the world's getting hotter and
all
it's
of the
causing
best
fires.
estimates
Do you
are-
believe this or
Our
not?
air and land are cleaner
It's just
than
so
any
hot.
time
So then
ever
people go
recorded,
out and they
our
do
water is among the
crimes.
cleanest in the world. And just a
And
little
it's
while ago, the
somehow
President signed
Trump's
the
fault.
Outdoors Act, the largest investment in our public lands and public parks in 100 years. So President Trump has made a commitment to conservation and to the environment. Now, with regard to climate change, the climate is changing. The issue is, what's the cause and what do we do about it? President Trump has made it clear that we're going to continue to listen to the science. Now, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris would put us back in the Paris Climate Accord. They'd impose the Green New Deal, which would crush American energy, would increase the energy costs of American families in their homes, and literally would crush American jobs. And President Trump and I believe that the progress that we have made in a cleaner environment has been happening precisely because we have a strong free market economy. You know, what's remarkable is the United States has reduced CO2 more than the countries that are still in the Paris Climate Accord, but we've done it through innovation. And we've done it through natural gas
That's right.
and fracking.
Don't just throw
Senator,
money at
American
fucking
can
people and
go
then,
look at
oh,
the record.
gas is going
Joe
down.
Biden,
Greenhouse gases are down.
Yeah.
both of you repeatedly committed to abolishing fossil fuel and banning fracking. And so by creating the kind of American innovation, we're actually steering toward a stronger and better environment. With regard to wildfires, President Trump and I believe that forest management has to be front and center, and even Governor Gavin Newsom from your state has agreed we've got to work on forest management. And with regard to hurricanes, the National Oceanic
Donald Trump
Administration
personally
says
spoke to
actually
Smokey the Bear. He said he's going to get right on it.
there are no more hurricanes today than
Thank
there
you.
were 100 years ago.
Thank you.
But many of the climate alarmists
President Pence,
use
I'm sorry, your time
hurricanes
is up.
and wildfires to try and
Flyers.
sell the bill of goods of the Green
The
New Deal.
wildfires.
And President Trump and I are going to always put
Thank you,
American
Vice
jobs and
President
American
Pence.
workers first.
Senator Harris,
No,
as
no, fuck.
the Vice President
That's
mentioned,
right.
you co-sponsored the
You
Green
worried
Deal
about
in
goddamn
Congress.
Corona?
But
You worried
Vice
about
President
acts of
Biden said
God,
last week's
hurricanes,
debate
tornado?
that he
Fuck
does not
that.
support
Go to
green
work,
Deal.
bitch.
But if you look at the Biden-Harris campaign website, it describes the Green New Deal as a crucial framework. What exactly would be the stance of a Biden-Harris administration toward the Green New Deal? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Trannies would get less charged for electricity in all countries, all states.
There you go.
That Joe Biden.
The gayer you are, the cheaper your energy.
That is a fact. That is a fact.
That is a fact that we're not going to do this in the future or change
Joe
our mind.
Biden has been very clear that he thinks about growing jobs.
He thinks about little girls all the time.
For anyone who makes less than $400,000.
He looks at little girls and like, I'm going to frack them.
Joe Biden's economic
He has a scrapbook of all the little girls he's touched.
which is a reputable Wall Street firm, has said will create 7 million more jobs than
A
Donald
what?
Trump's. And
Captions?
part of those
We need
jobs that
captions.
will be created by
Oh,
Joe
any
Biden
captions.
are going to be about clean energy and renewable energy.
You know, that's a good idea,
Because you
brother.
see, Joe understands that the west coast of our country is burning.
I mean, it's
including
on? I don't know
my
if it's
home state
working.
of California. Joe sees what is happening on the Gulf states, which are being battered by storms.
Yeah, it's just not
Joe
working,
has
bro.
seen and talked with the farmers in Iowa, whose entire crops have been destroyed because of floods. And so Joe believes, again, in science. I'll tell you something, Susan. I served, when I first got to the Senate, on the committee that's responsible for the environment. Do you know this administration took the word science off the website and then took the phrase climate change off the website? We have seen a pattern with this administration, which is they don't believe in science.
Yeah, what?
And Joe's plan.
Yeah, that was
is
like the
all
website,
saying we're gonna do this,
you know, like part of the White House website. They had taken out climate change and science out of like their statements or some
The question
shit.
was, the science is telling us.
This
to
happened
do
like
Donald
years
Trump
ago,
said.
like in
Science
2017.
doesn't know. So let's talk about who is prepared to lead our country over the course of the next 4 years on what is an existential threat to us as human beings. Joe is about saying we're going to invest that in renewable energy. It's going to be about the creation of.
We're gonna
millions of
drive
jobs.
around in
We will
Corvettes.
achieve net zero emissions by 2050, carbon neutral by 2035. Joe has a plan. This has been a lot of talk from the Trump administration, and really it has been to go backward instead of forward. We will also re-enter the climate.
Forward ever, backward never.
Senator Harris just said that climate change is an existential threat. Vice President Pence, do you believe that climate change poses an existential threat?
Come on, Mike Pence believes in God. He doesn't even know what the fuck existential threat means. He doesn't know what existential crisis means.
Yep.
Once again, Senator Harris is denying the fact that they're going to raise taxes on every American. Joe Biden said twice in the debate last week that on day one he was going to repeal the Trump tax cuts. Those tax cuts delivered $2,000 in tax relief to the average.
Damn, fucking Pence has you on a fucking goddamn technicality, Kamala.
You yourself said
Goddamn.
you would ban fracking. You were the
Pence is a
first Senate
genius.
co-sponsor
He's been getting
of the
some
Green
Ben
New Deal.
Shapiro, you know,
While Joe
teachings,
Biden did not
some
sign the
practice
Green New Deal,
sparring
Susan,
with Ben
thank you for
Shapiro.
pointing out, the Green New Deal is on their campaign website, and as USA Today said, it's essentially the same plan as you co-sponsored with AOC when she submitted it in the Senate. And you just heard the senator say that she's going to resubmit America to the Paris Climate Accord. Look, the American people have always cherished our environment. We'll continue to cherish it. We've made great progress reducing CO2 emissions.
We just don't need to pay other countries to help themselves. Fuck them. They suck. Keep our money.
We need a massive $2 trillion Green New Deal that would impose all new mandates on American businesses and American families.
Thank you.
Joe Biden wants us
Thank
to
you, Vice
retrofit
President Pence.
4 million
Thank you, Vice
American
President
business
Pence.
buildings. It makes no sense. It will cost jobs. President Trump,
Thank you, Vice President.
America
Wants
first.
to add an extra
put
tranny
jobs
restroom
first,
in every
and take
business. It's
care
just
of
not
our
feasible.
environment and follow the science.
Thank
But
you, Vice President
on the
Pence.
issue of jobs,
Senator Harris.
let's talk about that. The vice president earlier referred to it as part of what he thinks is an accomplishment, the president's trade war with China. You lost that trade war. You lost it. What ended up happening?
No, we didn't, bitch. We got TikTok.
Called trade
Woo!
war with China. America lost 300,000 manufacturing jobs. Farmers
What?
have experienced bankruptcy because of it. We are in a manufacturing recession.
This shit was happening under Obama. Fucking farmers were killing themselves because you all fucked up the whole milk game.
Has been.
There you go.
There are
Fuck
estimates that by the end of the term of this administration, they will have lost more jobs than almost any other presidential administration. And the American people know what I'm talking about. You know. I think about 20-year-olds.
You know.
20-year-olds.
She's using the Donald Trump method. You know what I mean.
Who are coming out of high school and college right now, and you're wondering, is there going to be a job there for me?
Bitch, that was happening 10 years ago. What the fuck are you talking about?
What
the hell?
They're going to pay
Shit.
rent by the end of the month. Almost half of American
The
renters
degree is worthless,
are
but we're
worried
gonna
about
keep
whether
helping
they'll be
you
able to pay
and raising
rent
your taxes
by
so you
the
can
end
get
of the
that
month.
worthless degree.
This is where the economy is in America.
You want to
right
be
now.
a dance
Because of
inspirational
the
instructor, but there's just no
and the
jobs
failure
to
of
do that?
leadership of this administration.
It's Trump's fault.
Thank you, Senator Harris.
Yeah.
Vice President Pence, let me give you just 15 seconds to respond because then I want to
15
move on.
seconds.
Well,
What the fuck can he say? Go fuck
Look,
yourself, bitch.
Lost
Yeah.
trade war with China.
That's fire
Joe
right
Biden
there.
never fought it. Joe Biden has been a cheerleader for communist China.
Ooh, a cheerleader for
Senator Harris,
communist
in my
China.
opinion, you're not entitled to your own facts. When Joe Biden was vice president, we lost 200,000 manufacturing jobs, and President Obama said they were never coming back. He said we needed a magic wand to bring them back.
We need a magic wand.
They're not coming back. Bye-bye.
That's it.
Unleashed American
It was.
energy. This
gay.
administration saw 500,000
Thank you, Vice
manufacturing jobs created. And
My
that's
wife is a
exactly
trend.
the kind of growth we're going to
Me
continue
and
to
Michael
see as we
Obama
bring our nation
love each other
through
very
Thank you,
much.
Vice
this pandemic. The Green New
Thank you,
Deal, your
Vice
massive
President
new
Pence.
mandates, your Paris Climate Accord. It's going to kill
Take all
jobs
that
this
shit.
time, just like it killed jobs.
I just think very briefly,
15
please.
seconds.
I love his little like
Thank you.
sassy little hand move. It's gonna
Joe Biden
take
is
you.
responsible for saving
Really gonna get you.
America's
partner.
auto industry, and you voted against it. So let's set the record straight. Thank you.
He saved
I'd
the
like to
auto
talk about
industry,
China.
bitch.
We have, as
The
our
same auto
next-
industry that I'm criticizing you
we
for
have
trying
no
to
more
save, we saved that.
complicated or
We did that.
complicated
What I'm
foreign
so
relationship
confused about.
than the one with China. It is a huge market for American agricultural goods. It's a potential partner in dealing with climate
We
change.
farm for China or what?
And
What the
video
fuck are they
tonight,
talking about?
Yeah, we
again,
farm from
blamed
China.
it
We
for the
we get rice all the
coronavirus,
time.
saying China
Oh
will
my
pay.
god.
Yeah, we've just been
Vice President
deporting
Pence,
all these
how
people
would
to
you
China to
describe
work.
Our fundamental relationship with China. Competitors, adversaries, enemies?
Wow.
You have 2 minutes.
Thank you, sir.
Well, I hate the Riddler.
Before I leave that, let me speak to voting records if I can.
Oh.
You know,
Oh.
everybody knows that NAFTA cost literally thousands of American factories to close.
Yep.
We saw automotive jobs go south of the border. President Trump fought to renegotiate NAFTA. And the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement is now the law of the land. American
law
people
of the
deserve to know. Senator Kamala Harris was one of only 10 members of the Senate to vote against the USMCA. It was a huge win for American auto workers. It was a huge win for American farmers, especially dairy in the upper Midwest.
Yep, Derry
But
called it.
Senator, you said it didn't with climate change, that you put your radical environmental agenda ahead of
isn't she
American
the lady
auto
off of
workers and
Dexter?
ahead of American
What?
jobs. The American people deserve to know
Have
that.
you ever
It's
watched that-
probably why Newsweek magazine said that Kamala Harris was the
Dexter?
most liberal member of the United States Senate.
Hard to hear, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, your
More
mic's
liberal
all
than Bernie
fucked, yeah.
Sanders, more liberal than any of the others in the United States Senate. So now, with regard to China, look, Susan, first and foremost,
We all like a little sweet and sour
Mr.
chicken.
Blank,
All right.
and President Trump is not happy about it. He's made that very clear. Made
He's
it clear
very
at the end of
upset.
the day. China and the World Health Organization did not play straight with the American people. They did not let our personnel
There you go.
into China to get information on the coronavirus until the middle of February. Fortunately, President Trump, in dealing with China from the outset of this administration, standing up to China that had been taking advantage of America for decades in the wake of Joe Biden's cheerleading for China, President Trump made that decision
on his
before the
hands
end
and
of
knees,
January
sucking
to
his
suspend
dicks.
all travel from China.
Yeah.
And again, the American people deserve to know Joe Biden opposed President Trump's decision
Yep.
to suspend
So
all
did Nancy
travel from China.
Pelosi.
He said it was hysterical. He said it was
Thank you, Vice
xenophobic.
President Pence.
But President Trump has
Vice
stood
President
up
Pence,
to
your time is
China.
up.
We're going to continue to stand strong.
Bitch, sometimes you need more than
We
2
wanna improve
minutes,
the
you
relationship,
dumbass.
but
This
we're
isn't
gonna
Twitter.
level the playing field, and we're going to hold China accountable for what they did to
Sorry,
America.
only 140 syllables.
Senator Harris, let me ask you the same question that I asked the Vice President. How would you describe our fundamental relationship with China? Are we competitors,
You notice how she stopped like trying to interrupt him or fight against him because he started doing it to her, and she's like, "All right, I need to stop
Susan,
this."
the Trump
Yeah.
administration's perspective and approach to China has resulted in the loss of American lives, American jobs, and America's standing. There's a weird obsession that President Trump has had with getting rid of whatever
The weird obsession Biden has with little girls.
was
What the fuck are you
achieved
talking about?
by President Obama and Vice President Biden. For example, they created within the White House an office that basically was responsible for monitoring pandemics. They got away, they got rid of it.
Not true.
There was a team of disease experts that President Obama and Vice
Yeah, I
President
bet he
Biden
did need a team of experts
dispatched
while he was in there. Fucking all kinds of gonorrhea, trans,
is
AIDS,
now
all
predictable
kinds of shit.
and what might happen. They pulled them out.
Coke nose.
We now are looking at 210,000 Americans who have lost their lives.
Oh my God, the
Let's look at
number.
the job situation we mentioned before. The trade deal.
6 million Jews. I mean,
trade
210,000.
war with China.
Sorry, my bad.
It resulted
Wrong-
in the
wrong
loss
speech.
of over 300 manufacturing jobs and a manufacturing recession, and the American consumer paying thousands of dollars more for goods because of that failed war that they called it. Then let's talk about standing. Pew, a reputable research firm, has done an
They're good.
that shows
They're
that
approved. They're official
leaders
sources.
of all of our formerly allied countries have now decided that they hold in greater esteem and respect Xi Jinping, the head of the Chinese Communist Party, than they do Donald Trump, the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief of the United States. This is where we are
What?
today. Because
What
of
the
a
fuck is-
failure
That's
of
right.
leadership by
People
this
like China
administration.
more than Trump. That's Trump's problem.
Senator Harris, we've seen changes in the role of the United States in
Let's
terms
play
of
along with
global
this
over
sociopathic
the past
system.
4 years. And
Can you hear?
times
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
definition. We've seen strains with China, of course, as the Vice President mentioned. We've seen strains with our traditional allies in NATO and elsewhere. What is your definition of the role of American leadership in 2020?
We're the mothers of the world.
What
We just go
in the
everywhere.
What kind of a
I love
question is
talking to
it?
Joe about a lot of these.
Look at her
issues.
sit
And,
back.
Joe,
We talk about
he-
this
I
all
think
the
he
time.
said it quite well. He says, foreign policy, it might sound complicated, but really it's relationships. So just think about it as
You
relationships.
just put your hands over the shoulders, you drink one hand down, you caress their titties, and their dad and their moms are right there in front of y'all, and they just don't give a damn that you're molesting their daughter. That's what I'm gonna do
Gotta
to
know
China.
who your adversaries are.
That's how you get a
Keep
college
them in check.
degree.
Oh
But
yeah.
what we have seen with Donald Trump is that he has betrayed our friends and
All our friends are gay as fuck.
Dictators
I'm
of
glad
the
that we
world.
betrayed them.
Let's take for
Fuck them
example.
all.
Yeah, we were paying more than our share.
Fuck them, dude.
I fucking
serve on the
bet.
Intelligence Committee of the United States Senate.
Bring all the troops home and blow up our
America's
bases on the
intelligence
way out
community
so they can't use them.
Russia interfered in the election of the president of the
That's what they
United
do.
States in
Yeah,
2016
just
and
demolish
in
all that shit.
2020. Christopher Wray, the director of the FBI, said the same.
Or they sell it off to
Donald
neighboring
Trump, the
companies.
commander-in-chief
No, that's
of
why.
the
Don't
FBI,
even sell it.
said
Just blow that shit up,
Exactly.
man.
Takes
Fuck
away
They
them.
should just blow it up, but they do
all
sell
the
it.
word of the
Yeah.
American
You're gonna be
intelligence
reverse
community.
engineering our
You
technology.
look at our
Fuck
friends
that.
at NATO.
Yeah.
He has walked away from agreements. You can look at the Iran nuclear deal, which now has put us in a position
What
where we are
position?
less safe because
See,
they are
actually, we don't really have to worry about the Middle East.
might end up being a
They're all
significant
inbred.
nuclear
Ha ha.
Dude, they're literally
We were
all
in that
retarded.
deal,
Yeah,
guys. We
inbred.
were in
Well,
that deal
honestly,
with our
70% of
friends,
the
allies around
of the country or the Middle
Donald
Easterns
Trump's
marry their cousins.
unilateral approach
So
Fuck.
It's amazing.
yeah, put
coupled with
put two
isolation
together.
That's all the people they know.
pulled us out and has made
Exactly.
us safe. So, Susan, it's about relationships.
There's a
And the
reason
thing
they're that way.
has always been part
It's
of
the cousin
strength
or
of
the
our
goat,
nation.
you know?
In addition to
Yeah.
our great military,
I'm going for
has
the
been that
cousin.
we keep our word. But Donald Trump doesn't understand that.
Why not
Because he
both?
doesn't understand what it means to be honest.
We gotta be the gossipy girls of the
Thank you,
group.
Senator Harris. Vice President Pence, let me give you a chance to respond.
Well, thank you. Well, President Trump kept his word when we moved the American embassy to Jerusalem, the capital
Oh,
of the state of
fuck.
That's
Israel.
right.
When Joe Biden was vice president, they promised to do that, and
Biblical.
never did.
We're on the sacred
We
ley
stood
lines.
strong with our allies, but we've been demanding. NATO is now contributing more to our common defense than ever before, thanks to President Trump's leadership. We've strengthened our alliances across the Asia-Pacific, and we've stood strong against those who would do us harm. You know, when President Trump came into office, ISIS had captured an area of the Middle East the size of Pennsylvania. But President Trump unleashed the American military, and our armed forces destroyed the ISIS.
We treated that bitch like Hershey Park. We're going all in.
One American casualty. Al-Baghdadi was responsible for the death of thousands. But notably, America's hearts today are with the family of Kayla Mueller, her parents of which are here with us tonight in Salt Lake City. Today, two of the ISIS
Man, he is just making up some bullshit.
responsible for Kayla Mueller's
He's going hard, man. He's trying his best to make up for Trump's craziness.
Jihadi John was killed on the battlefield along with the other.
We care about people and emotional
The
stuff
reality
too.
is that
Yeah, exactly.
when Joe Biden was vice president, we had an opportunity.
We don't just care about money.
Yeah.
Breaks my
He is
heart to
pulling-
reflect
he
on
is
it, but the
grasping
military came
straws.
into the office,
Both of them.
presented a
man.
plan. They
He was just listing countries at the beginning, and then we went to Uganda, and we're cool there. Then we went to Nigeria, and, you know, we were tapping those guys up.
when Joe Biden was vice president, they hesitated.
Now we're friends.
Yeah.
That's what he
She
did.
finally went in. It was clear she'd been moved 2 days earlier. And her family says with a heart that broke the heart of every American that if President Donald Trump had been president, they believe Kayla would be alive today. We destroyed
That
the
broke
ISIS
my
caliphate.
heart.
That's right.
And
Y'all like using these victims.
The Iran nuclear deal. And the last
Dude,
time
there's
they
this
transferred
There's a
1.8
bitch that they're holding around. She was apparently at the presidential debate, and she's there because like her dad died from COVID, so now she's like making this movement that's all about her. You know,
Qasem Soleimani was
my dad believed in Trump, and you know my dad was an idiot. Bless his heart. But this is what
Thank you,
happens.
Vice President Pence.
Yeah.
It's like pictures of her dad in the hospital bed. Like I bet your dad would fucking punch the fuck out of you, slap the shit out of you.
Thank you,
Dumb bitch.
Vice President
Take
Pence.
He would, yeah, get up off the
Senator
fucking
Harris, a chance
deathbed
to
to
respond,
just
but
beat
not
you.
at such
Poor
great length,
dad,
because
dude.
of course there are other topics we want to talk about.
Would like equal time.
Yes.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
That's the
First of
cure
all,
for
to the Mueller
COVID.
family, I know about your daughter's case,
Bitch, you
and I'm
said what?
so sorry.
Just pretend to make a TikTok of your dad.
What happened to her
You
is
gonna get it
awful,
now?
and it should have never happened.
What did you do to my
And I
truck?
know Joe feels the same. And I know that President Obama feels the same.
Who gives a fuck what Obama
Like you mentioned
feels? Fuck
Soleimani.
that guy,
Like
dude.
he's gone. Yeah.
So after the strike on Soleimani, there was a counter strike on our troops in Iraq. And
That was bad.
they suffered serious brain injuries. Donald Trump dismissed them as headaches. And
Oh
this is about
God.
a pattern
And
of
Trump
behavior
said it wasn't that
where
bad.
has
He said it was a boo boo.
to our men who are serving in our military as suckers and losers.
Oh
Donald Trump,
God.
Who
This
went to
again.
Arlington Cemetery and stood above the graves of our
It's funny how
fallen
the army
heroes
supports Trump.
and
Right.
said,
Of course,
Alright,
it got.
what's
in the
in it
military.
for them? Because of course, you know, he only thinks about what's in it for him. Let's take what he said about John McCain, a great American hero. And
All his friends
Donald Trump
nicknamed him
says
Songbird because he gave
that
up all
he
kinds of
called a
intel
hero
while he
because
was
a
captured.
prisoner of war. And this is very important
I thought he was king
when
of the
you
hill.
want to talk
Dad.
about who is the current
Nice.
commander in chief and what they care about and what they don't care about.
I'd vote for that guy for president.
Public reporting that Russia
Hill.
had bounties on the heads of American soldiers. And you know what a bounty
Oh.
is? Somebody puts a price
It's
on
what
your
Obama
head,
did
and
when he
they
had
know
drones.
you are
You idiots who didn't know what debt was? Let me tell you what a bounty
Kill
is.
American soldiers.
Vladimir Putin
Yeah.
and
for
never
real.
brought up
You gonna have a
It's like, I'm gonna
bounty.
go
Joe Biden
drone
would
strike
never
these
do that.
people.
Thank
There's
Joe
no
Biden would-
I am the
Joe
judge, the
Biden
jury, the
would hold
executioner.
Russia
Yeah, it just did Iron Man shit. It was just him by himself. Like, these people died, and these people died.
Yeah,
our
yeah.
troops who are
Wow,
sacrificing
like at the
their
last person
lives
as they
for the
die,
sake
he
of
just
our
comes,
democracy
you
and our
know,
safety.
just,
Thank you,
that's the
Senator
best
Harris.
nut.
This is such an important
The
issue,
death
but we have
boner.
other important issues as well.
Well,
and
he
I
has to go home
want to make
to
sure we have
Michael,
a chance.
so-
No, it's the little girl that comes out of the cave like, Daddy, Daddy, and just rapes her and just leaves.
Ah.
I'm sorry, but Vice President,
Damn
you've
it.
had more time than she's had.
It was all wholesome until you ruined it.
President Donald Trump
Little girl comes out the
regarding
cave.
women in our lives are absurd.
I'm sorry, Vice
My
President
son is
Pence.
a captain in the United
Yes.
States Marine Corps. My son-in-law is deployed in the United States Navy.
Oh,
I can assure
300
all of
confirmed
you,
kills.
the sons and daughters serve in our military.
no scope.
President Donald Trump not only respects but reveres all of those who serve in our
360 no
armed forces, and any suggestion is ridiculous.
20 kill
Thank you,
streaks.
Vice President Pence. Vice
The American
President Pence,
people
you
deserve,
know,
Susan,
Vice
the
President
American people
Pence, I
deserve to
didn't,
know.
Vice President Pence, I did not, excuse me,
Susan, the
I did
American
not
people
create the
deserve to know
rules for tonight.
Joe Biden.
Your campaigns.
I'm just a cop. I didn't create the rules. I'm just gonna do blindly what I'm told to do.
Which involves moving from one topic to another,
I
giving
got it,
roughly
I was
equal
making sure I
time to
would
both
too.
of you, which is what I'm trying very hard
The
to
thing I
do.
really like is
So I
this
wanna
bitch
go
has
ahead
big
and
gold
move
like
to the next
macaroni
topic,
shells.
which
What the fuck is that?
Fucking
That's the
for
last
real,
topic.
dude. I've been
Hey,
tripping
That
out.
is the Supreme Court.
And then Kamala has like little pearls, but this bitch has big old conch shells around her head.
Barrett's nomination to the Supreme Court. Senator Harris, you'll be there as a member
It's
of the
got
committee.
weigh your head down so it
Confirmation
doesn't
would
take your nose up
cement
to everybody.
the court's consideration and make
Fucking
it
genius.
likely open to more abortion restrictions, even to overturning
More
the landmark Roe v.
abortions?
Wade ruling. Access to abortion.
Let me tell you right now,
to the
we're gonna
states.
kill as many babies as
President
I mean,
Pence,
shit.
former governor of Indiana. If Roe v. Wade is overturned, what would you
Oh
want
my-
Indiana to do?
The
Would you
first
want
thing
your
I would
state
do is
to
get
ban
pregnant just so I could have an
all
illegal
abortion?
abortion
You have
as a
2 minutes.
fuck you.
Uninterrupted.
Well, thank you for
Apparently,
the
yeah.
question, but
See,
I'll use a little
What
bit of my
happened
time
about
to respond
abortion
to
is
that very
that
important issue
it was
before.
to exterminate all
The American
the
people
black
deserve to
children.
know.
Yeah.
Too many white
Soleimani, the
people
Iranian
started
general,
doing
was
it, so they're like,
responsible
oh,
for the
now
death of
abortion's bad. We
hundreds
can't have
of
that.
American
Yep.
service members.
That's right, man.
When the opportunity came, we saw him headed to Baghdad to kill more Americans. President Trump didn't hesitate. And Qasem Soleimani is gone.
It's fucking
Deserve to know
dead.
that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris actually criticized the decision to take out Qasem
They
Soleimani.
thought it was dumb.
It's really inexplicable, but with regard to Joe Biden, it's explainable.
Makes no fucking
Because
sense,
history
but
records that
okay.
Joe Biden actually opposed the raid against Osama bin Laden. It's absolutely essential
Right.
that we have a commander-in-chief who will not hesitate to act to protect American lives and to protect American service members, and that's what you have in President Donald Trump. Now, with
To
regard
take out
to the
rogue
Supreme Court
CIA
tonight,
fucking
let me
operatives.
say
Trump
something
himself will be on those
enthusiastic
hills.
about the opportunity to see Judge Amy Coney Barrett become Justice Amy Coney Barrett. Now, she's a brilliant woman, and she will bring a lifetime of experience. And
This
a
woman,
sizable
she's never had an
American family
abortion, let me tell
to
you.
the Supreme Court of the United States. And our hope is, in the hearing next week, unlike Justice Kavanaugh received with treatment from you and others, we hope she gets a fair hearing. And we particularly hope that we don't see the kind of attacks on her Christian faith that we saw.
Yeah, I can't wait for
before.
like some secret rape
Democrat
things to come out of it.
Chairman of
Amy
Judiciary
Coney
Committee
Barrett
before.
sucked off 8 dudes at a party once, and they all did not want it to happen.
Confirmed the Court of Appeals expressed
Hey, I
concern
deleted that tape.
The dog nominee loudly in her. Dick Durbin of Illinois said that it was a concern. Senator, I know one of our judicial nominees you actually attacked because they were a member of the Catholic Knights of Columbus, just because the Knights of Columbus holds pro-life views and
Thank you.
pro-life views.
Thank you, Vice President
So
Pence. Your
my
time
hope
is
is that
up.
when the hearing takes place, that
Thank you, Vice President Pence.
that Judge Amy Coney Barrett will be respected,
Thank you,
treated
Vice President
respectfully,
Pence.
voted and confirmed. to the
I'm gonna
Supreme Court of the
finish,
United
bitch.
Senator Harris, you're
It
the
just doesn't
senator
give a
from and
fuck.
former Attorney General. of
already
California. So
finishing,
let me
fuck
ask you
you.
a parallel question to the one I posed to the Vice President.
Here we go.
If Roe v. Wade is overturned, what would you want California to do? Would you want your home state to enact no restrictions on access to abortion? And you have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
No restrictions.
Thank you,
We
Susan.
want
First of all,
5-year-olds to go in
Joe
there.
Biden and I are both people of faith, and it's insulting
Okay.
to suggest
Oh,
that we would knock anyone for their faith. And in fact, Joe is
But you
elected
have,
to
and
be
you
only
did.
the second practicing Catholic as president.
Look at that little
of the
smug
He's taking
smile.
herself
Look at
deeper.
that.
On the issue
Ah.
yes,
of
sir.
this
Yes, sir.
nomination, Joe and I are very clear, as are the majority of the American
We're
people.
very clear. We are
We have
religious, but we just
27
don't give a
days
fuck about
before
what the religion
decision
actually
about who will
says.
be president of the United States.
We're one of those new age
Yeah,
hippies.
before
We believe in
the
Jesus,
conversation
but
has
only
come
the
up,
good
it's been
parts,
about
you
election
know?
year or election
Only the
time.
parts that make
The ones we
scientific
do.
sense.
In
Yeah, that. That's right.
Over 4 million people have voted. People are in the process of voting right now. And so Joe has been very clear, as the American people are. Let the American people fill that seat in the White House, and then we'll fill that seat on the United States Supreme Court. And to your point, Susan, the issues before us couldn't be more serious. There's the issue of choice, and I will always fight for a woman's right to make a decision about her own body. It should be her decision and not that of Donald Trump.
It was her decision, and she fucked it up.
But let's also look at what else is before
Donald Trump
the
is
court.
making her.
It's the Affordable Care Act. Like,
I think it's funny.
literally
He doesn't
in
have
the
the
midst of a public
power to
health
do all that shit by
pandemic,
himself.
That's
when
pretty
over
much what I figured.
210,000
Who doesn't have that
people
power?
died, and 7 million people
Oh, of course not.
probably have what will be in the future considered a pre-existing condition because you contracted
He's just,
the virus.
he's just a placeholder.
Donald Trump is in court right now trying to get rid of the Affordable Care
Exactly.
Act. And I said it before, and it bears repeating. This means that there will be no more protections if they win for people with pre-existing conditions.
What
This
the hell is that?
means
What?
that over 20
She said it, bro.
million
If you
people
have
will
heart
lose their
disease, cancer,
It
They're
means that
coming
if
for
you're
you,
under
yeah.
they're coming for you.
26, you can't stay
Trump
on
is gonna
insurance
show
coverage
up.
anymore. And here's the thing.
By the time you're
The
18, you should be off
contrast couldn't
insurance
more
coverage.
clear. They're trying to get rid of the Affordable
Right.
Care Act. Joe Biden is saying, let's expand coverage. Let's give you a choice of a public
Thank you,
option
Senator.
or private coverage. Let's bring
And
down
that money will
premium
come out of
let's lower
nowhere.
Medicare eligibility to 60.
Thank you,
same way
Senator.
that Obama
Totally.
passed affordable
You know,
health care just to
you
make prices
mentioned,
go up and make these
earlier,
certain amount of
Vice
medical
President
companies
Pence
get
said
even
the
more
president
money.
is
We're gonna do that again.
committed
Yes, sir.
people with
Exactamundo.
pre-existing conditions. But you do have this court case that you are supporting, your administration supporting, that would strike down the Affordable Care Act. The President Trump says that he's going to protect people with pre-existing conditions, but he has not explained how he would do that. And that was one of the toughest nuts to crack.
How is
when
he
they were
gonna show
passing
up to the
the Affordable
hospital and
Care Act.
save
So
these
tell us
people?
specifically,
He's gotta
how
snuggle
would
'em.
your administration
It's a very well-kept secret that Trump, is Batman.
If the
He's gonna go
Cut
there.
off and his hair does a dance.
Well, thank you, Susan. But let me just say, addressing your very first
He has the vaccine in his body now because he
I
has the
couldn't be
best
more
blood.
proud to serve
The
and
only way to deliver it is with his
President
penis.
stands
I'm
without
sorry.
apology for the sanctity of human
It's the only
life.
way.
South Park shit.
I'm
Yeah.
pro-life.
Your butt.
I don't apologize for it.
Direct
This is another one
injection.
of those cases where there's such a dramatic contrast. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris support taxpayer funding of abortion all the way up to the moment of birth.
Fuck that.
Late-term abortion. They want to increase funding to
Jeez.
Planned Parenthood of America.
They
Now,
need
for our
more
part,
money.
I would never presume how Judge Amy Coney Barrett would rule on the Supreme Court of the United States, but we'll continue.
Yeah,
to
wouldn't that be
stand
the big
strong.
thing? She's a woman.
Pay for
When
it.
you speak about the Supreme Court, I think the American people really deserve an answer, Senator Harris. Are you and Joe Biden going to pack the court if Judge Amy Coney Barrett is confirmed? There have been 29 vacancies on the Supreme Court in
This
presidential
fucking
election
shit.
years from George
It's
Washington.
yeah,
to
the
Barack
same thing as
Obama.
last time. It's because they
Presidents
said,
have
I mean, they come up with all
Yeah,
kinds of
yeah.
shit. Like as soon as Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, they're like, all right, let's limit the term so we don't have another old bitch in the Supreme Court like we did.
Which has had 9 seats for
real.
150
It's
years
fucking dumb.
if you don't get your way. This is a classic case of if you can't win by the rules, you're going to change the rules. Now,
Yep.
you've refused to answer the question.
Yep.
Joe Biden has refused to answer the question. So I think the American people would
Because
really
they,
like
we
to
know the
know
answer. They already
if
said it.
Judge
They're gonna
Amy
try to
Coney Barrett
increase the
is
number of
confirmed as
Supreme
Supreme
Court
Court of the
justices.
United
That way they can
States.
put like
Are
10
you
new
and
liberal
Joe
ones.
Biden,
And then
if
that's
somehow you
Yes,
win this election,
sir.
going to pack the Supreme Court to get your way?
I'm so glad we went through a little history lesson. Let's do that a little more.
Oh
In
my god.
1864,
No, I'd like you to
In
answer.
1864, the Democrats were the ones that believed in racism. End of the history lesson. I win.
in 1864,
Yes, sir.
Oh shit.
one of the, I think, political heroes, certainly of the president, I assume of you also, Mr. Vice
Just
President,
some
is
dude.
Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was up for re-election.
Oh, I'm sorry, Abraham
And
Lincoln.
it was 27 years before the election. And
He was
the
shot in the
country was
head.
open on the
I'm
United
just
States.
putting that out there, folks.
Abraham
They
Lincoln's
shot the
party was in
president.
charge not only of the White House, but the Senate. But Honest Abe said,
I didn't chop down no nigger.
the American people deserve to make the decision about who will be the next president of the United
We
States.
made the
And then that
decision
person
already.
can select who
Yeah.
will
Still the
serve for a
president.
lifetime on the highest court.
I'm deciding
Apparently.
that,
And so
You
Joe and
voted
I
for
are
me
very
because you
clear.
wanted to.
The American
See, what they
people
really want
are
is like
voting
to
right
emphasize
now.
the lame
And it
duck
should be
period, like
their
the 6
decision
months between when we
about
vote
who
or the 3
will
months or
serve
whatever.
this most
They want
important
them to do
job
literally
for
nothing.
life.
6 months after, yeah,
Thank you,
before the
Senator
show.
Harris.
People, Susan, are voting right now. They'd like to know if you and Joe Biden are going to pack the Supreme Court.
Answer the
if you don't
question,
get your way in
bitch.
this nomination.
Just answer it.
Let's talk about
You
packing.
once
Come
again
on.
gave an
Let's talk about
hour.
packing. The other day, I put some packing peanuts in a box.
Straight answer.
Oh, that's it, folks.
Straight answer is they are going to pack the Supreme Court if they somehow win this election.
Look at her just looking at him like.
I got to tell you, people across this country
Yeah,
who
what's
cherish
with
our
that?
Supreme Court,
With the
if you
hands
cherish
and
the
what the
separation
fuck?
of powers, you need to reject.
She looks like a cartoon character. I can't
Harris
remember
ticket.
who. Like a
Come
mix
November
between
3rd,
Betty Boop
re-elect
and I
President
don't know who
Donald
the
Trump.
fuck.
We'll stand by that separation of powers in a 9-seat Supreme Court.
Yeah, let's talk about packing the court then.
Let's talk about it.
pack. Yeah,
We're gonna pack the court like you pack fudge in your ass, Mike Pence. You're gay.
So, the Trump-Pence administration
Is
has
packing
been,
fudge
as I
gay?
sit on the
It's
Senate
actual
Judiciary
fudge.
I've witnessed the appointments for lifetime appointments to the federal courts, district courts, courts of appeal. People
And all of
who
those
are
were fine,
purely
except for this one.
ideological, people who have been reviewed by legal professional organizations and found to have been not competent are substandard. And do you know
And that's why
that
Biden
of
won't
the
take a
50
competency
people
test. You heard it here,
who
folks.
President Trump appointed to the Court of Appeals for lifetime appointments, not one is black?
Whoa! Oh shit!
Court, let's have some.
Damn.
I'm
Right,
glad
thank
you pointed
Thank
that
you,
out.
Senator. Let's
Did
go on
you
to
know that,
the issue
folks?
of racial.
Did you know that?
I just want the record to reflect she never answered the question.
There you go.
I think the
You got
American
you,
people-
bitch.
That's it right here, folks. With her little pearl earrings,
In
her
March,
probably
Breonna
$50,000
Taylor,
pearl
26-year-old
earrings. She's
emergency
for
room
you,
technician in
folks. She's
Louisville,
for
was
the
shot and
people.
killed after police officers executing a search warrant in a narcotics investigation broke into her apartment. The police said they identified themselves. Taylor's boyfriend said
He
didn't
went
even do that.
right to
He
Breonna
used a
Taylor.
gun registered
You're
with
fucking
Jesus
kidding me.
Christ.
No way.
Holy
20 rounds
shit.
into the apartment. They say they were acting in
Rest in peace.
self-defense.
Oh shit, they
None of
called
them
out the
have been
pack in the
indicted
courts.
in
Let's
connection
go
with
to racism, Mike Pence, you racist.
In the case of Breonna Taylor,
Yes.
Was justice done? You have 2 minutes.
Would you have kneeled on George Floyd's neck?
Breonna's mother, Tamika Palmer,
fuck.
and her family. And her family deserves justice. She was a beautiful young woman.
What does her family deserve?
It's her
What?
life goal to become a nurse,
Yeah.
and she wanted to become an EMT. to
Yeah,
learn
she did until she
what's
started
going on
selling drugs with her
out on the
ex-boyfriend.
street.
That's what
She could
happened.
Pretty much.
become a
Yeah.
nurse and save lives. And her life was taken unjustifiably and tragically and violently. And it brings me to, the 8 minutes and 46 seconds that America,
Holy fuck.
Right.
an American man was
I'm gonna go
tortured
take a piss. I'll be there. This
under
is
the knee of an armed, uniformed police officer.
Didn't shoot him.
And people
After
around
they
our
tried to
country,
put him into the truck for longer than 8
race,
minutes and 46 seconds, and he
every age, of
repeatedly
every gender,
refused.
perfect
Then he started
strangers
chewing on
to
fentanyl and
marched
overdosing.
shoulder to shoulder, arm in arm, fighting for us to finally achieve that ideal of equal justice under law.
Yep.
And I was a part of those peaceful protests. And
I mean, didn't
I
Kamala
believe
lock up all these
strongly
black people?
that
Yeah,
first of all,
she
we
did.
are never
Yep,
going to
she locked up so many black people.
but we always
Forever.
must fight for the values that we hold dear, including the fight to achieve our ideals.
Like
And
when
that's
you were
why
a
Joe Biden
prosecutor?
and I have said on this subject, look, and I'm a former career prosecutor. I know what I'm talking about.
I know what it
Bad
means to
bad
put
cops.
these people in
We
jail.
need reform
I know what it
of
means.
our policing in America and our criminal justice system, which is why Joe and I will immediately ban chokeholds and carotid holds. George Floyd
Jesus
would be alive today
Christ.
if we did that. We will require a national registry for police officers who break the law. We will, on the issue of criminal justice reform, get rid of private
definitely do.
prisons and cash bail, and
Thank
we
you.
will decriminalize marijuana.
Okay,
and
so the
we will
bail system,
expunge
what's gonna
the
happen,
records
bitch?
of
Tell
those
me.
who've been convicted of
Tell me.
marijuana. This is
Thank
the
you,
time
Senator
for
Harris.
leadership
Tell me, bitch.
on a tragic, tragic issue.
Guess we gotta let this almost murder out because we gotta get rid of the bail system.
Vice President Pence, let me pose the same question to you. In the case of Breonna Taylor, was justice done? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Well, our heart breaks.
Brianna, yes. George, no.
We lost an innocent,
Next
an
question.
innocent American life. And the family of Breonna Taylor has our sympathies. But I trust our justice system, a grand jury that refused the evidence. And it really is remarkable that as a former prosecutor, you would assume that an impaneled grand jury looking at all the evidence got it wrong. But you're entitled to your opinion, Senator. I think
I love that he keeps saying
with regard to George Floyd, there's no excuse for what happened to George Floyd. And justice will be served.
Yeah, I mean, he's directly calling out that she would just go with whatever she thinks and fuck everybody else in the system.
That followed.
Yep.
I mean, it really is astonishing. Flora Westbrook is with us here tonight in Salt Lake City.
Damn.
Just a few weeks
And
ago,
it's
I
gonna
stood
go
at
to what, like 10
used
or
to
something?
be
30.
her salon.
9:30.
is burned to the ground
But
by rioters and looters.
get going in a bit.
Yeah, it's
and
a
Flora is still trying to put her life back together. And I must tell you, this presumption that you hear consistently from Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, that America is systemically racist, and that, as Joe Biden said, that he believes that law enforcement has an implicit bias against minorities, is a great insult.
Here we go.
Hey, look, there's
He has a fly.
Yeah, we caught it.
Everyone to know who puts on
Wow.
the
Oh,
uniform
shit.
every day.
It's just
President
shitting
Trump
on his
and I
head. You know this is a
stand
meme.
That's a Russian spy.
It is
balloon.
remarkable.
You know this is a meme.
That when Senator Tim
Yep.
Scott tried to pass a police reform bill, brought together a group of
Look at this
Republicans
fly.
and Democrats,
Tomorrow.
Senator
He's
Harris,
shitting on Mike Pence because he's a
walked out
piece
of
of
the room.
shit.
and then you filibustered Senator Tim Scott's bill on the Senate floor that would have provided new accountability,
someone
new
tell him?
resources. Look, we don't have to choose between
don't want to.
supporting law enforcement, improving public safety, and supporting our African
I'm yelling.
American
Thank you,
neighbors
Vice
and
President.
all of our minorities. Under President Trump's leadership,
Thank you,
we'll
Vice President
always
Pence.
stand with law enforcement, and we'll do what we've done
Vice
from day
President Pence,
one, and
thank
that is
you. Your time
improve
is
the
up.
lives of African Americans.
Thank you, Vice
Record
President Pence.
unemployment,
Thank you,
record
Vice
investments in
President
education.
Pence.
Thank you, Vice
We will fight for school choice for all of our members.
Thank you, Vice
I'd like to respond.
Senator Harris.
You have
I
a
would
fly
not
in your
sit
head.
here
Thank
and
you.
be lectured by the Vice President on what it means to enforce the laws of our country. I am the only one on this stage who was
they got-
personally
nope, still there.
prosecuted.
Do you see that little eye roll flutter? I hate that shit when bitches do that. I
I'm
hate
the
that
only
shit.
one on this stage who was
Little
prosecuted
eyelid
with big
flutter.
banks for taking advantage of America's homeowners. I'm the only
Strangey
one on
nuts.
this stage
Oh, man,
who
I feel so
prosecuted
bad for Pence right
for-profit
now.
colleges for taking advantage of our veterans. The reality of this is
He's just
that
drawing
we
like,
are
I think there's a fly on my
talking
head, but I
in
cannot touch
27
it.
days.
I cannot scratch it.
Last week, the President of the United
I need to
States
show I'm
took the
tough.
stage in front of 70 million Americans.
No fly
and
will get to
refused
me.
Condemn white supremacists.
My hair's dark enough.
They,
I can't see
they
it.
talking to me.
It wasn't like he didn't have a chance. He didn't do it, and then he doubled down. And then he said, when pressed,
I think this kind of proves that he doesn't have an earpiece, right? Because he'd be like, there's a fucking fly in your head.
The fly is
of
the
a
earpiece.
pattern
Oh, shit.
of Trumps,
Dude, it's just drilling into his head, giving him corona.
rapists, and criminals.
Yes.
He instituted as his
You're a
first act a
weirdo.
Muslim ban. He on the issue of Charlottesville, where people were peacefully protesting
Ay,
the
caramba.
need for racial
Yeah, the
justice,
racists were the ones
where a
peacefully
young woman was
protesting. You're right.
killed,
And then
on
the
other side
Antifa
there
came
were
and fucked shit up.
neo-Nazis carrying tiki torches, shouting racial epithets,
Oh,
anti-Semitic, and Donald Trump, when
I'm
asked
gonna have
about
to
it,
get
said,
going out. Let me know how it ends up, guys.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
"This is who we have as the President of the United States. And America, you deserve better. Joe Biden will be a president who brings our country together
Senator Harris.
and recognizes the beauty in our diversity and the fact that we
Senator
all
Harris,
have
thank
so
you.
much more in common than what separates us."
Vice President Pence, let me give you a minute to respond.
Thank you, Susan. I appreciate that
no
very much.
person.
You know, I think this is one of the things that makes people dislike the media so much in this country, Susan, is that you selectively edit, just like Senator Harris did,
Yeah.
comments that President Trump
God
and
damn.
others on our side of the aisle make.
Straight out,
Black
bitch.
people with the weed
Senator
pen.
Harris conveniently omitted after the president made comments about people on either side of the debate over monuments. He condemned the KKK, neo-Nazis, and white supremacists, and has done so repeatedly. You're concerned that he doesn't condemn neo-Nazis. President Trump has Jewish grandchildren. His daughter and son-in-law are Jewish. And this is a president who respects and cherishes all of the American people. But you talk about having personally prosecuted. I'm glad you brought up your record, Senator.
Thank you.
But I really need to make this point. When you were DA in San Francisco,
Here it
when
comes.
you left office,
Do it.
African Americans were 19 times more likely to be prosecuted for minor drug offenses than whites and Hispanics.
Oh!
The General of California the disproportionate incarceration of
Thank you.
blacks. In
Answer! Answer!
Nothing on criminal justice reform in California. You didn't lift a finger to
you.
pass the First Step Act on Capitol Hill. I mean,
Get
the
'em!
reality is your record speaks
you,
for
Vice
itself.
President
President Trump fought for criminal justice reform.
Thank you, Vice President
He fought for personal choice and opportunity.
get
for
back,
African
slave.
Americans, all of our
Thank you, sir.
reform.
Thank you. You know, there is no more important issue than the final issue that we're going to talk about.
The
tonight,
final
and that is the
solution.
issue
Notice how
of
she
the
didn't
election
answer it.
itself.
No.
He attacked my record.
Oh, here she wants to go back to it.
Let me give you 30 seconds
Oh!
because we're
Here it
running out of
comes.
time.
I appreciate that. First of all, having served as the Attorney General of the state of California, the work that I
Left when
did
you
is
walked.
a model of what our nation needs to do, and we will be able to
a
do
model.
under a Joe Biden president.
Yeah, we need to go bankrupt so we can fund more
Our
tranny
agenda
seminars. Yep.
includes what this administration has failed to do. It will be about not only
Base our whole
instituting
economy
a
on
ban
tourism so that way when something like this happens, we
not
need
only-
money because there's
Thank you
no
so much.
I
tourists.
would like to go through.
These are points that you made earlier in the hour, and I want to talk about the election.
Well, bitch,
itself.
how about you actually go through an answer instead of giving this big diatribe? Just say it straight up. I don't care about those black
which
people I put in
includes,
jail.
I was the
Fuck 'em.
first statewide officer to institute a requirement that my agents would wear body cameras and keep them on full time. We were the first to initiate.
None of that has anything to do about the prosecution.
On implicit bias, because yes, Joe Biden and I recognize that implicit bias does exist, Mr. Vice President, contrary to what you may believe. We did the work of instituting reforms that were about investing in reentry. This is the
They
work
did it
that
because
we
of
have
the cool
done
thing they
and the
did at
work
the
we will do going forward. And again, I will not be lectured.
They needed more extras
by
for
the
their
Vice
Hollywood movies.
on our record of what we have done in terms of law enforcement and keeping our communities safe and a commitment to reforming the criminal justice system of America.
Thank you, Senator Harris. And I'd like to pose
That was
the-
a big
I also think
nothing
it's another
burger.
I'd like to
24-hour
respond
news
first to the question on our
station.
final topic, the
Eventually,
election itself. President Trump has several times refused to commit himself
I'd have
to a
exasperate
peaceful
it.
transfer of power after the election. If your ticket wins and President Trump refuses to accept a peaceful transfer of power, what steps would you and Vice
What a
President
weird thing.
Biden
Like,
take? What would
the
happen
president has promised he
next?
won't
You have
commit
to-
a crime. He hasn't promised yet.
So I'll tell you, Joe and I are, I think, particularly proud of the coalition that we've built around our campaign. We probably have one of the broadest coalitions. of
Yeah, notice
folks
these words,
that we've ever seen in
coalitions.
the presidential race. Of course, we have the support of Democrats, but also independents and Republicans. In fact, 7 members of President George W. Bush's cabinet are supporting our ticket. We have the support of Colin Powell, Cindy McCain, John Kasich.
You know, all those
over
criminals
500,
that we used to say that they were
generals,
pieces of
retired
shit,
generals and
we're
former
actually
national
lining
security
ourselves with them now
experts and
because they're
advisors
secretly
are
part of the whole
supporting our ticket.
organization that we're
And I
part of.
believe they are doing that because they know that
They're
Joe
actually not
Biden
pieces of shit.
has a deep, deep-seated commitment to fight for our democracy and to fight for the integrity of our democracy and to bring integrity back to the White House. And so we believe in the American people. We believe in our democracy. And here's what I'd like to say to everybody. Vote.
Live from New
Please
York.
Vote early. Come up with a plan to vote. Go to iwillvote.com. You can also go to joebiden.com. We have it within our power in these next 27 days to make the decision about what will be the course of our country for the next 4 years. And it is within our power, and if we use our vote and we use our voice We will win.
I hear her voice.
And we will not let anyone subvert our democracy with what Donald Trump has been doing, as he did on the debate stage last week, when again in front of 70 million people.
I bet she's into piss play. Like, she just likes drinking gallons of piss.
Attempted to suppress the vote. Joe Biden, on the other hand, on that
He
same
had to
debate
have
stage, because clearly
be
Donald Trump
somewhat,
doesn't think he can run on a record because it's a failed record. Joe Biden
psycho
on that
to run
stage
for
said, hey,
government.
just please vote. So I'll repeat what Joe said. Please vote.
Thank you, Senator. Vice President,
Please vote,
President
please.
Trump has several times refused to commit himself
That's
to a
his niche.
peaceful transfer of power after the election. If Vice President Biden is declared the winner and President Trump refuses to accept
Yeah,
the
remember,
peaceful
folks, this is
transfer
the
of
question
power,
that she answered
what
before
would be
Kamala
your
went on
role
that big
and
speech.
responsibility as Vice President? What would you personally do? You have 2 minutes.
Well, Susan, first and foremost, I think we're going to win this election. Because while Joe Biden and Kamala Harris rattle off a long litany of the establishment in Washington, D.C., an establishment that Joe Biden's been a part of for 47 years, President Donald Trump has launched a movement of everyday Americans from every walk of life. And I have every confidence that those same Americans that delivered that historic victory in 2016, they see this president's record where we rebuild our military. We revived our economy through tax cuts and rolling back regulation, fighting for fair trade, unleashing American energy. We appointed conservatives to our federal courts at every level. And we stood with the men and women of law enforcement every single day. And I think that movement of Americans has only grown stronger in the last 4 years. But when you talk about accepting the outcome of the election, I must tell you, Senator, your party has spent the last 3.5 years trying to overturn the results of the last election. The FBI actually spied on President Trump and my campaign.
God damn,
documents
man.
released this week that the CIA.
What a savage. Where's Megan Thee Stallion where you need that
FBI
bitch?
documenting that those allegations were coming from the Hillary Clinton campaign. And of course, we've all seen the avalanche, what you put the country through for the better part of 3 years until it was found that there was no obstruction, no collusion, case closed. And then, Senator Harris, you and your colleagues in the Congress tried to impeach the President of the United States over a phone call. And now Hillary Clinton has actually said that Joe Biden would
See that eye
circumstances
flutter that she
should
does?
we
I hate
concede
that
the
shit.
election. So,
Yeah.
let me just say,
The
I think
shit
we're
you
gonna
only
win
see
this
ghetto
election.
bitches and like
President
really
Trump and I
high
fighting
level
every day in
cunts do.
courthouses to prevent Joe Biden and Kamala Harris from changing the rules and creating this universal mail-in voting that'll create a massive opportunity for voter fraud. And we have a free and fair election. We know we're going to have confidence in it. And I believe in all my heart that President Donald Trump's going to be reelected for 4 more years.
You know, I've written all the questions.
why I had that
tonight,
card-
but for the final question of the debate,
You what?
I'd like to read a question that someone else wrote.
What'd you say?
The Utah Debate Commission asked students in the state to write essays about
Trump
what
loses,
they
I hope
would like
there's
to
a,
ask you.
civil
And I
war.
want to close tonight's debate with the question.
That's the
posed
only reason
by
I want him to
Bethany
win is just so
Brown.
there is a war.
She's
Like
an
either
eighth
way, I
grader
just want
at
something to
Springville
happen.
Junior High in Springville, Utah. And here's what she wrote, quote,
Absolutely nothing but
when I watch the news, all I
We
see
can't hear you, bruh.
is arguing between Democrats and Republicans. When I watch the news, all I see is citizen fighting against citizen. When I
That's
watch
'cause
the
you're
news,
watching
all I see are two
CNN,
candidates
bitch.
from opposing parties
Jesus.
trying to tear each other down. If our leaders can't get along, how are the citizens supposed to get along? And then she added, your examples could make all the difference to bring us together, end quote. So to each of you in turn, I'd like you to take 1 minute.
Look at that
and
little
respond
smug
to
face.
Brecklin.
He's
Vice
waiting.
President Pence, you have 1 minute.
Brecklin, it's a wonderful question. And let me just commend you for taking an interest in public life. I started following the news when I was very young. And in America, we believe in a free and open exchange of debate. And we celebrate that. And it's how we've created literally the freest and most prosperous nation in the history of the world. But I would tell you that don't assume that what you're seeing on your local news networks is synonymous with the American people. You know, I look at the relationship between Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg,
Yeah,
the
Latinos for
great
Trump.
justice who we just lost from the Supreme Court, and the late Justice Antonin Scalia. They were on polar opposites on the Supreme Court of the United States. One very liberal, one very conservative. But what's been learned since her passing was the two of them and their families were the very closest of friends. I mean, here in America, we can disagree. We can debate vigorously, as Senator Harris and I have on this stage tonight. But when the debate is over, we come together as Americans. And that's what people do in big cities and small towns all across this country. So I just want to encourage you, Brett, and I want to tell you that we're going to work every day to have government as good as our people. And the American people each and every day love a good debate. We love a good argument. But we always come together and are always there for one another.
Except if you're a liberal. Then you cancel them, you want them out of their job, you want them cut off from the internet, you take away
Senator
their
Harris,
house.
What would you say to Brecklin?
Cut off their electricity.
First of all,
Oh, that's what liberals do to Republicans. I mean,
When I
conservatives.
hear her
Yeah,
words,
yeah, that's what I
hear
meant,
your
yeah.
words, Brecklin, I know our future is bright because it is that perspective on who we are and who we should be that is a sign of leadership and is something we should all aspire to be. And that, that brings me to Joe. Joe Biden, one of the reasons that Joe decided to run for president is after Charlottesville, which we talked about earlier. It so troubled him and upset him like it did all of us, that there was that kind of hate and division. What propelled Joe to run for president was to see that over the course of the last 4 years, what Brecklin described has been happening. Joe has a long-standing reputation of working across the aisle and working in a bipartisan way. And that's what he's going to do as president. Joe Biden has a history of lifting people up and fighting for their dignity. You mean you have to know Joe's story to know that Joe has known pain,
Right on
he's
cue.
known suffering, and he has known love.
I can barely hear you, but yes.
And so,
Yeah, Q, I can't hear you at all.
think about the future.
I feel
I do believe
validated.
the future is bright.
Yes.
Yeah, I
It
heard
will be because
validated.
of your leadership.
That's what this presidency is about, Q. You have to vote for who's going to
I
make you
get
feel
really
validated.
close like this, is it
You're there to
better?
vote, and we get
Yeah,
into it
yeah,
in
we
this
can actually hear you
election
now.
because
Yeah.
you have the ability through your work and through eventually your vote
Thank you,
to
Senator
determine
Harris.
the future of our country and what its leadership looks like.
Thank you, Senator Harris. Thank you, Vice President Pence. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
That's it, folks.
We want to thank also the University of Utah for its hospitality. And most of all, our thanks to all the Americans who watched this debate tonight. Again, our best wishes for a quick recovery to President Trump, the First Lady, and everyone who is battling COVID-19. The second presidential debate is next week on October 15th, a town hall style debate in Miami. We hope you'll join us then. Good evening.
We'll join Jack, that's for sure.
Ooh-wee.
So there you have it. Two candidates largely.
Look at these little panels. When they stand up, it barely even like blocks. This shit is just all political theater. They're not wearing masks. Nobody's wearing. Look at these.
Both candidates clearly did their bound to
Is this Chris Cuomo?
serious, tough questions from Susan Page.
Who is that bitch?
That they
Who is
didn't
it?
want to
Is
answer.
that her
Who's
husband?
that?
That's a very good question, Susan Page. I must point out. Mike Pence, in the process, also learned that it's nearly impossible to put a
Dude, my mind is blown.
Black woman dates a white man.
Yeah, my mind is blown right now. I've never even thought about this.
Americans dead.
Yeah.
She scored some points when she said
She
these were
squirted some
the
points. Is that what
greatest
Blister
failure
just
of
said?
a presidential
She squirted some
administration
points.
in the history of our country. The candidates, their spouses, they're on the stage right there. We'll continue to watch. In the meantime, let's check in with Jake.
Thanks, Wolf. Well, I have to say, I think it was, first
sick
of all,
to be around her.
a normal debate.
When you're so scared to be 6 feet away from somebody, but you're okay to be like 12, 18 feet away, I mean, I don't think you really give a fuck. Let's be real,
Both
folks.
candidates got in some punches. I thought Senator Harris was effective when going after the administration.
Look at Pence's wife. That bitch can get it.
Obviously, I thought Vice
Look at that.
President.
She's a
going
well
after
behaved.
Biden's record.
She's a winner, dude.
And attacking Harris as on the
Yes,
fringes
well
of her party,
trained.
which, as we expected, I think there'll be a lot that Republicans will be happy to talk about when it comes
They
to
ain't
his
born that
performance as a
way.
standard. There is, I think, a disparity in terms of some of the unanswered questions.
Goddamn. Pence tried his best to get her in, corner her, and he got her a couple things. the prosecutor thing, the stacking the courts. Pence got her, man, where he could.
I think Pence did a very good job. Yeah.
Yeah, he got her where he could. That's what they were saying, was that Pence was going to be the logical side of this debate instead of just like attacking her, you know. But he still got in those Trump attacks.
He's been trained well too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who's this bitch?
He presents very well.
He's very trained, and he doesn't have that sass that like Kamala and everybody else does. You know, he's just on point.
Like, you can read it in her fucking face how hot shit she thinks she is.
That's why I kept saying that she like bats her eyes. Like, it's literally only a thing that ghetto bitches do and like really high class cunts do, because everybody else in between does not have the delusion or the confidence to do that.
Yeah.
That's the
Hey man, you have to be a little bit of a psycho to run for office.
That's the same eye flutter you get from some bitch when like her chip card doesn't work. Like, what do you mean I can't be buying beer with all of my unemployment? Like, what do you mean?
I spent $50 earlier.
Yeah, my food stamps don't work on no booze. What's going on? Fluttering her fucking eyelids. Like, that's the kind of sass this bitch has. It's the same thing with like AOC. Yeah, fake, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with AOC, where it's like you're mostly on their side. It's like, you're right, you know, you're right. People, the world is dying, but you're just such a fucking dumb cunt. I have no care whatsoever to support
Like,
you.
I hope you die first.
Yeah, exactly.
I legit support AOC, and still, like, I can't stand to listen to her talk because it's like,
Terrible, dude.
so you bother me. You do.
Dude, and then she sits like she does this shit. Like, she's on fucking Instagram and shit, like, or Instagram Live or whatever, like cooking,
Yeah.
you know. Let me tell you how to make a government stew. You throw in some trannies, you throw in some black people. That's all you need to make a government. Let me tell you, I was a bartender.
I wonder when the Republicans are going to try to do the same shit. Because AOC was an accident and wasn't supposed to happen. Because she was going against Joe Crowley, and I think she spent in total like $500,000, and then he spent like $2 million, and he crushed him.
She was just getting that Twitter, you know, those Twitter votes and shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He was all up on Twitter, and Joe Crowley's an old fat fuck that no one knew. He didn't live in the area, and like, yeah.
It's
But
very.
I wonder when Republicans are gonna try to do their own young, sexy woman.
They can do it to me. I'll be it.
Dude, they have
I'll say the most retarded shit they want. I'll do it.
Dude, the thing is, they try, but those bitches get shut down. Like, all the bitches that they bring up are like not hot enough, and then they always have like some weird shit in their background that happened to them, you know? Like that gun girl that shit herself, like that's all she's known for, is shitting herself now. Like, she's not hot enough, and then that's all she's known for is just shitting herself. Yeah, the one that just goes, like, she does what Steven Crowder and shit does. She's just at campuses like, why don't you support guns, you know? Guns are cool.
Yeah, I mean, and is she on that weird NRA station?
It's like Dina something, isn't it?
No, that's Dana Lash. No, that bitch is hot. I don't give a, that bitch is hot. Dana Lash. I'll go to hell for Dana Lash with her black hair. No, the gun girl is just some random internet celebrity chick, you know. Just some random political pundit chick. But it's very on point that AOC is like a bartender, and they always use that, like, she's a hard worker, she used to be a bartender. Like, no, she's used to guys pretending to give a fuck about what she has to say, and that's very appropriate for what she's doing now. Nobody gives a fuck. Like, yeah, she put her way through college by being a bartender and getting $100 tips from thirsty dudes who wanted to fuck her, you know? That's her life.
And don't get me wrong, if I saw a 29-year-old running for senator or whatever, I would vote for him just because.
Dude, that video that came out of her dancing and then everybody was like just talking about her tits. Jesus.
But what was hilarious was people on the right being like, she's immature. Do you really want this person running government? Like, yeah, actually, I do. I do. I want someone that knows how to have fun. Yeah.
It's like fucking Baptist. Like, can you believe she's dancing in the presence of a man? Dude, there's yeah, it's fucking dumb shit, man. I just hope all these people die. You know, I hope they just round them all up, shoot them down.
Ever see the show Designated Survivor?
No, not yet, but I've heard about it.
It's so good. You gotta watch it. The premise is just that the Capitol gets bombed when they're during the State of the Union.
It's just Jack Bauer, the president.
Yeah. It's so fucking good because it's like they have to have emergency elections, and it's a bunch of independents.
Yeah,
it was, but it's all on Netflix now. Netflix
It's on Netflix and it's called what?
Designated Survivor.
Thank you.
Like, they pretty much kill everybody, the chain of command, and then this guy is the next guy in chain of command that's left living.
Yeah. Well, the House, the Senate is still alive, but the House is all, and then it's majority independence, and it just completely shakes up the entire system, and it's like, that is exactly what we need.
If that happened in real life, it would be like Rand Paul left, just completely dumbfounded on what the fuck he's got to do.
Oh, God. Although, ideally not Rand, maybe Ron.
Well, he's dead, isn't he? He had a stroke.
No! He has a kick-ass, he does podcasts.
He had a stroke on air just like last week.
Yeah, last week or something.
Oh my God, my libertarian chat must be so fucking
Dude, it's actually really sad, but it's really hilarious. And if you've seen that other one, there was a one for a long time. It was like that old guy who has a stroke, like on Indian television or something. It's like some Indian guy.
I don't care about Indians.
Me neither. That's why that video is great. It's just watching him have a stroke.
Which one? The dots or the wah 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 wah?
I'm like one something native, so I'm very offended at that.
Don't worry, I'm like 0.0001% Native American too.
I'm pretty sure the Dot Indians have more capital wealth than the Wawa Indians.
John Wayne's teeth there.
Yeah, Indians go on the internet and they rape women. The Wawa Indians, they just get drunk and rape women. So it's a very big divide.
No, they sell cigarettes to white people and then they dowie out.
American spirits. Dude, I want to go to I forgot what show there was, but it's just based around like some corrupt ass Indian casino. I want some of that shit going on, you know? Some corrupt Native Americans.
I haven't consumed alcohol in 3 consecutive nights in like 4 years or more. But I guess the real thing is that normally when I drink, like blackout drunk, and then I don't want alcohol for at least 3 days.
Yeah, your body stops you. It's really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, my body
just
stops
like
for me. It's when I throw up. I'm like, bleh! And I'm like, nah.
No. All that alcohol, no.
Yeah, I was saving that to get drunk.
Yeah. That was supposed to go through my liver, my bloodstream, straight into my brain.
You know, that's actually a big thing with people that do like MDMA and shit. They like save their piss and then recycle it down so they can get the crystals back.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The fuck?
Yeah, like people that do ketamine and shit like that. Apparently a lot of the ketamine gets stopped in your bladder, and that's also why people who do ketamine, their bladder goes out at like 20 years old or something. So they're just recycling their crystals from their piss. Like, time to get these MDMA back, this ketamine back. It's just junky shit.
I wonder how many times it could be recycled.
Yeah, I would make the comment that I don't think that's what was going on.
It's just real junky shit.
To your comment about being a woman of color, I think
Some jankum.
And shopping for 3 hours.
Dude, speaking of Jacob, look at Rick Sanctorum himself.
3 hours, insane.
I was wondering what happened to you guys. I was like, we got lost.
We were just wandering around Walmart looking at stuff, shopping. Yeah.
She was not overly assertive throughout this entire debate.
I mean, compared to the other times we've gone there, yeah, we got like 10 cans of stuff and like a vegan cheese pizza thing and like.
This is the advice I think they probably gave.
Yeah,
Don't create a moment where
I'm offended by that pizza.
Is it one of those cauliflower?
Right?
No, the cauliflower ones aren't even fucking vegan. It's real cheese on top, and I'm like,
damn.
What the fuck is the point of this?
It's all a trick, bro.
It's for gluten-free people who think they're allergic to wheat. And I'm sorry, if you are genuinely allergic to wheat, like, kill yourself. Like, don't breathe. Don't.
I know one person who was, and it was the worst experience ever.
Yeah, yeah, it sucks. I've known like 2 people.
Why doesn't anybody run on that platform? Like, if I'm president, all the people with allergies, we're just not gonna give a fuck anymore. Just do whatever the fuck you want to do. You want to go on a plane with peanuts? Fucking do it. You want to pass out peanuts at school and kill all the little kids that have the allergy? Fuck them.
You'll enjoy this. So my nephews, they go to a peanut-free campus is what the school. And so what I would do is I would make them peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with lots of peanut butter
Hell
and
yeah.
put it in their bag before they left for school. Be like, yeah, and no one ever died. So look at that.
You just go into a school and spray like essential peanut butter oil like in the air vent system. Just kill all the kids who are allergic to it.
Oh my god! Just like go, yes. Just go around with a sprayer and a spray bottle.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Oh, I'm cleaning the window.
I don't know why these kids are dying, but
Yeah.
I'm so hungry for some PB&J.
Yeah.
Oh, it's funny though. This is like legit data. So the reason that peanut allergies are up is because parents are refusing to give their young children peanuts, and they did a test. They tested like 500 people in each group, and the rate of peanut allergy in the group that was never exposed to peanuts was 600% higher than the rate that was exposed to peanuts when they were very young.
Yeah, apparently it's still possible to get that allergy, but if you expose your kid to it like before they're 6 months or some some certain age, then yeah, they're totally cool with it. I mean, it's like all those other kids, right? Like they're fucking sheltered and then they're allergic to like dirt, sand, like all kinds of shit that they're just living in a bubble their whole life.
Being allergic to strawberries, like fucking really?
Yeah, that's the kind of shit that really isn't talked about as much. It's like, of course, I don't want eugenics to happen because I'd probably be the first fat piece of shit murdered. But like, all these people that are not supposed to actually breed, and then now we're just like, it's okay, let those retards fuck and have more retard babies. It's totally cool. Totally doesn't have an effect on the population or society at large.
No, not even a little bit.
Well, at the same time, sometimes retardations give mutations.
Yeah, that's why I'm totally for it. Yeah, I'm totally for it, man.
And I mean, depending on what we're like considering retarded, like autistic people are fucking savants sometimes.
Yeah,
and like
I was referring to literal Down syndrome kid because now I'm seeing that shit. Like fucking.
And the thing with Down syndrome is that you can actually detect that shit in the womb.
Yeah.
And so you can just abort the baby. And some countries have done that, and they don't have Downs anymore.
The thing with those countries is they usually are like white populations, and it's all like Sweden and all this shit where you can't talk about that. The other thing I was seeing, I don't know if it's a meme or not, but I'm pretty sure it's real. It's like some little midget that's like talking about how they can cure dwarfism. So she's like, there's not gonna be any of my people left. Like we can't let the dwarfs go out of we can't let the dwarfs be extinct. Have dwarf children all you want.
I mean, I do want to still have them. I mean, my buddy who runs a haunt wants midgets in his haunt so fucking bad. So
Dude, there's there's like one of those villages in China. They just have like midgets, and it's like Santa Claus Kingdom or something. So all the midgets are just like elves and shit.
Oh,
Somewhat slavery.
yeah.
No, it's like a theme park. It's like a theme park built around like Santa and shit. So they just have a bunch of midgets as elves. And that's the only job they can get. It's either that or, you know, become street thieves or whatever the fuck.
Or get shot through cannons.
Yeah. Oh man, I used to play that shit a lot when I was a kid. What is it? Shoot the midget.
The luchadors.
You marked on me.
There's like one like toss the midget or something like that, like midget cannon. Just had to shoot the midget as far as possible.
And they wear like Velcro, and then you just throw them on the Velcro wall.
Hey, they make a lot of money doing it, so why not?
Okay, there's gotta be a show where like the winner gets like heightening surgery, like you get your legs heightened, you know what I mean? And so it's just a bunch of midgets that are competing for this shit.
They can do that now.
Yeah, that's why it's just a bunch of midgets trying to compete for that, and all the losers just die, but the one winner, he does get to be like 2 inches taller. Not even that much taller, just like 2 inches. Like, all right, you're no longer officially scientifically a midget. Like, yes.
You can ride this right now.
Yeah, yeah, you can ride coasters. Yeah.
I think she did a brilliant job with her base tonight. Oh, well, I mean, look.
Dude, fuck this guy. I hate that black guy too. I always forget his name.
Black guy. All the black
I
guys.
couldn't find CNN, the channel, so I had to stop watching it.
Is it Don Lemon?
No, I know that faggot.
No, that's Van Jones. That's Van Jones.
Yeah, Jones. Yeah.
Don Lemon is the queer.
Our relationship with Israel. I mean, peace treaties. Proud of our relationships right now around the world? I think our relationships around the world are better now.
Don Lemon's a piece of shit.
Dude, Don Lemon is the biggest faggot ever. Doesn't he wear a bow tie just like Tucker Carlson? I don't know.
I don't know. I've never taken it in. I've seen him be fucking stupid and, you know, just a corporate shell. And I've seen him be correct, but it's like, it's great that you're correct and saying what's true, but also, like, what about when it's, you know, Epstein, or the fact that Bezos is a piece of shit, or the fact that, like, we could solve all like hunger with the food waste alone, or like the fact that your CEO is a fucking multi-100 millionaire multiple times
And
over.
What, 2 million homeless people and 15.5 million houses, abandoned houses?
Abandoned houses, businesses.
More like 32 million homeless people now because of COVID.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but they can still all party up in those houses.
IWillVote.com.
What is it?
What?
IWillVote.com. Joe Biden's campaign just bought that domain.
Jesus Christ. Is that because Kamala Harris said that on accident?
The fly on his head, I guess.
I mean, that's the thing that they say, right? The more voters, the more Democrat voters, and that's why they just keep pumping in illegals, refugees.
I will vote / I will vote.
My friend, her 16-year-old got a voting ballot.
And let me guess, she's voting for Biden?
No, she's voting for Trump, but
God
the kid though is 16 years old. It's retarded.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Vote.
Well, that was because of an investigation that took
Si
place
bueno,
yesterday.
está bien.
Anyway,
Dude, not like, how could anybody take a guy that looks like this seriously?
You know what an actual Democrat, someone who actually believes in democracy would do with that? They would hand that shit over to like, archive.org. Be like, yours. Explain how to vote. Explain the history of it. Explain why it's important to vote. Not that I fucking hate that people are like, and the Democratic Party, no, the Democrat Party. A Democratic Party would never end up with fucking Biden. Like, they have, what do they have, like 10% of the entire US population, if that, voting? Oh, I can fucking find out. And like, they call it democratic, and it's like, that's not democracy. You need to have at least 60% of the population voting full stop. And for it to be true democracy, you need to get 60% of the voting age vote. And that's never happened in the history of the whole of the United States. Because the voting rate is what? 55% right now?
I mean, not even that, is it?
I want that Joy lady to win, just randomly.
What Joy?
Oh, Joe Jorgensen? Fuck yeah.
That
Kind of crazy, but yeah, I like her.
Or you could just write me in. Write my name.
No.
I'm old enough.
Writing it, I fucking hate when people write in because most states don't even count what you write in. I feel like, I'm gonna write in Bernie Sanders because I believe in Bernie Sanders. And I'm just like, but like the thing is that like your state won't actually count that and it just says write in the data. Whereas if you go ahead and vote for Joe Jorgensen or vote for Howie Hawkins, that actually matters. And like they get to 5%, they get more funding, then they're in the debates, and then whole system changes and we have designated survivor, but in reality. But you know, that's just reality and stuff.
Nah, I say just write my name in.
We need some real retard. We need like some real retard. Like Trump is retarded, but we need like some real fucking retard to win in order for shit to happen.
Pretty intense.
Mount Duke Johnson.
29-year-old.
Yeah, we need like one of those Liberal Party guys that like shows up and starts like dancing with his shirts off, like at the conventions or whatever. Like, you need to vote for me because you know we all need to watch hentai or whatever the fuck his platform is. You know, like one of those guys. Just some fool weeb.
Yeah, one of the politicians, that was the selling format. I definitely watch anime.
Every voter gets one jerk off, one happy ending.
I would shoot the faggot. Like I would fucking kill him. I don't give a shit. He's a dipshit. He can be.
Who, Pete?
No. We're talking about dick fucking Texas, faggot. I will take your guns away.
I don't know. There's so many of them.
Some of Biden's programs, he misrepresented.
Oh, Gore? What?
O'Rourke.
Oh, O'Rourke. Beto, yeah. I hear that guy on the radio.
By the way, his name is Robert. He just calls himself Beto so that he sounds more Hispanic.
Can I just say something more about
Yeah, that's like his fucking nickname, like Beto, and that's not even like who? What kind of Spanish nickname is it?
The plane. They were talking shit.
And his stepdad is a fucking billionaire. And when this cunt was mayor of El Paso, he unsuccessfully tried to evict people from this land, from a building that his dad wanted to buy and redevelop.
He's also friends with the president of Mexico.
Dude, his whole campaign was just to sell merch, just like all these other people. His campaign was just to sell merch and the stickers. And the shirts.
See me, but I really liked when he would get up on tables and move his hands in this like Obama fashion and kind of talk and like take his hand as if he like studied Obama and was like, that's how you win the presidency.
Dude, it's like one of those movies where it's like a retard guy and he's like studying people, like how they act. Like that's what Beto was doing, yeah. It's like, and you moved your hand up in this motion, and now you do this clasping your hands thing, and you know.
And,
he has no idea.
He actually used to, when he was a kid, like teens, maybe even into his 20s, was not a fucking cunt.
Well, he was a terrorist.
Yes, he had creative writings, and he was a part of one of the first ever hacker groups. And he was like good with computers, and he like wrote these really cool creative writings. And,
let's be honest though, we don't have proof that he did the cool stuff. You know, he was probably like one of those guys that's like on Anonymous or 4chan. He's like, yeah, I'm one of Anonymous. You know, he's just probably some faggot there jerking him off. You know, you go guys, you go, you do it.
Funny. But he has writings, and they really are worth. It's worth going to read them.
I mean, the writings, yeah, you can tell they're his because they're gay as fuck. But I mean, like any actual like things that he did
Did you not read them? There was one about like a post-money society, which is a real thing that will happen eventually.
Yeah, but a lot of it was the same. I don't know. A lot of it is like, yeah, it's like Star Trek and shit, where it's like, you're right, this shit will happen, but the rest of the stuff is just like not good with it.
What about the serial killer one?
I don't remember that shit.
So good, and people are like, "Oh my god!" Stop. And then
Who wrote these? I'm sorry.
Beto.
Robert O'Rourke. I like calling him Robert because I know he doesn't like it.
Or Bobby.
Okay, Beto.
And what was he? But what pissed me off was that he then apologized for these writings that he did when he was 17 years old.
I mean, yeah, he fell into the same trap. Yeah, it's like he used to be that guy.
Check out my writings. You know, I thought they were okay at the time, enough that I uploaded them. And looking back, like, yeah, they're controversial, but I mean, it's worth reading. Give it a look and tell me what you think.
I mean, it's because he's like the classic example of what all those people became. Because there's like a bunch of those people who were like, yeah, let's do this and let's take down the government. And now, yeah, they're on Twitter like, don't say this, don't say that. You know, that's what they fucking became, is Beto O'Rourke, and sitting with his crazy-eyed wife in his couch like, please give me money for my campaign, please. I need your money.
Look up Weather Underground. They were
oh yeah, that's what it's called.
Great group from back when, environmental activist group, which is a mild way of putting it, but they're my heroes.
That's also one of the things where
serious.
That's also one of the things where those people who, like, if they really practice what they preach, they would just kill each other and just be done with this fucking world. It's like, yeah, you're right. You are polluting this world, Beto. Goodbye. See yourself out.
What was that name of the group again?
Weather Underground.
So, bottom line, misleading. It's wrong to say empty. Certainly wasn't entirely.
What happened to Richard?
But it was indeed.
He left like he didn't even stay to the end, dude.
Queer.
Yeah, he left around like 9:20 something.
Yeah. You know how it is.
Yeah, he literally left when Quentin walked into the room.
27 seconds, very, very equal.
You know how it is, bro. He's not a coomer, but he's gotta, take care of his dying wife that cheats on him. But, not a coomer.
He's a coomer.
Harris left some opportunities on the
Is that what really happened?
No, bro.
That's what it sounds like.
I'm just talking shit, man.
And racial
You're talking shit? It's not real?